that one moment decides everything feel, because 3 points here changes the whole group picture in a heartbeat.
Yeah, Leo. Timas still plays like a defensive midfielder, steady cash flows and sticky subs, so the safe label mostly holds. The 5G home push is more about grabbing share while cable's on the back foot, but if promo intensity ramps, margins can take a few.
Ha! Without that 5G, this stream would be playing like a rainy Tuesday in Stoke. Glitchy touches and heavy legs. Keep it steady, Rebecca. We need a clean connection like a crisp first-time pass through midfield. That ad's pressing harder than a high line. Same-day delivery, 35 a month. They're going straight for the top corner. And that salsa history? Beautiful. Football's the same melting pot. Rhythms, styles, and suddenly you've got magic on the pitch.
Totally, it's a classic bundle move, like adding an assist to a goal, boosting perceived value without cutting the core price. For Timas, it's churn defense. For Dash, it's incremental volume. But watch subsidy costs so it doesn't turn into a loss lead. Norway still camped at 80%, but the real tell is bid depth jumping. Buyers are stacking behind 179.78 like a team pressing in waves. Draw offers thinned a lot, so if momentum hits, that side can gap quicker than people expect. Draw liquidity is evaporating fast on the ask side, 795k now, so that market's getting easier to push around if a headline hits. Norway stays pinned 80.790.8 yo, but with that big 0.80 wall, it's a grind higher unless someone brings.
And there it is, the beautiful game. Pure and simple, no translation needed. All right then, let's buckle up and see who writes the next verse out on that pitch.
Draw just got heavier on the offer. Ask depth back up near 924k, so that easy to gap window is closing. Norway's still the crowded favorite, but that CAU's 80 sell wall is like a packed penalty box. You need real force to break through. Big shift. Norway bid depth just surged to about 279 March while price barely budged. Someone's building a cushion under 0.79, like parking the bus with better players. But win prob ticking 279% says the market's getting a touch less confident, so
IMO, we've just had a wild ad break hat trick, kitchen nightmares, then a faith and inspiration book plug. Tell me, is this the market hedging its bets or just going full diversification mode?
Yeah, Leo, that's classic barbell strategy. One side steady, values-driven, defensive. The other pure turnaround drama chasing attention. It's not hedging risk so much as hedging moods, like rotating between possession football and route one chaos. Spot on, Leo. When politics ramps, attention concentrates and ad rates spike, but the tone gets polarizing, so brands either lean in or sit out. The market play is volatility, news-driven momentum trades for media, and a defensive tilt for consumer names. Draw ask depth just eased from that spike, so the ceiling at 0.15 is a bit less intimidating. Still heavy, but not a brick wall. Norway's bid stack rebuilt again around 0.78, 0.79, so the favorites got support like a team. Absolutely, Leo. Midterm night trades like a penalty shootout, volatility jumps, and futures whip around on every state call. I'd watch rates, defense, energy, and healthcare first because policy odds reprice their fastest, then the dollar for the
IMO, this promo talk about midterms and America watching markets hate uncertainty. What's your quick read? Volatility spike or steady climb as the journey begins?
You're right. Markets don't fear bad news. They fear unknown score lines. Expect a volatility pop into the event, then a calmer grind higher once the result's priced, like nerves before kickoff and composure once the first whistle goes.
This matchup feels like a market tale. Iraq as the comeback underdog after 40 years, Norway as the blue chip rocket powered by Holland. Give us the finance angle. Value play versus momentum stock. Which side would you back?
Love that framing. Norway's the momentum name with institutional support, and you can see the bids stacked like a deep bench. Iraq's the deep value flyer. Cheap for a reason, but one headline moment and it can gap up fast. Just don't size it like a blue chip. Exactly, Leo. Norway's the momentum trade with a thick bid base, and that 0.80 offer is the profit-taking line you see in crowded winners. Iraq's the penny stock punt. Tiny price, big upside on one shot goal, but liquidity says tread carefully.
IMO, this Norway comeback feels like a blue chip rally led by one superstar, Holland as the market mover. Iraq's return after 40 years is the ultimate underdog IPO story. How do you price that kind of hunger versus proven firepower?
Yeah, Leo, Norway's the blue chip striker stock, steady bid, headline driven upside, and everyone's already long. Iraq's the underdog value play, cheap entry, but you need a catalyst fast, or it just chops sideways like a relegation scrap.
Boston Stadium simmering at 76, and you can feel Norway licking their lips. Two skyscrapers up top begging for early crosses. Holland's got that grin like he's already seen the script, but Iraq's got 40 years of hunger in their boots. This could get spicy fast.
Totally. When both teams need the points, volatility jumps, and the blue chip can trade like a meme stock for 10 minutes. Norway's still priced for control, but must-win pressure means one sloppy turnover and the whole book reprices instantly.
Absolutely. This Norway side isn't a one-man billboard. It's a whole convoy rolling forward. If Iraq fixate on Holland, someone else will sneak in and punish them, and that's the danger. This feels like a 3 points or sleepless nights kind of afternoon. Ha! The jungle list is getting crowded already. Someone get a crown and a spreadsheet. But jokes aside, this is where reputations get minted. One big moment in the box and suddenly you're top of the food chain.
We're basically unchanged. Norway still pinned 0.79, Twine 0.80, with big depth on both sides, so the market's saying control but not a blowout. Draw offers are still stacked 8s or 1-5, and Iraq can't lift off 0.06, 0.07. Underdog money's caution.
IMO, Norway as a beautiful dark horse with Holland and Odegaard, feels like a blue chip stock pretending to be undervalued. Give us your market take. Are they mispriced contenders or hype with volatility?
Yeah, that's a value cost play story. At 80% implied, the market's already treating Norway like a top seed, not a sleeper. The risk is crowded positioning. If the first big chance doesn't convert, you'll see a quick shakeout like a favorite conceding early. Spot on. Norway's not a penny share, it's a mega cap with a premium multiple, so the dark horse tag is just marketing. Iraq's the real grind story, and that's where upset risk lives. One scrappy goal and the favorites' price gaps like a keeper error. Books still screaming Norway favorite, but it's a crowded trade. Heavy ass depth above 0.80 means any wobble gets sold fast. Draw is the sneaky pressure valve with that big point fave wall, and Iraq money remains thin, more lottery ticket. Small tell here, draw ask depth just thinned a bit, but price won't budge. Still stuck to 1.4, 15, so sellers are backing off without buyers stepping up. Norway remains glued at 0.79, 0.80 like a team pass.
Norway's front line is like a diversified portfolio. Holland, the headline growth, Sorloth, the value bruiser, Odegaard, the playmaking broker. Any quick market style analogy for how Iraq can hedge against those early crosses and direct balls? Sorloth's a proper late-blooming powerhouse, 30 years old, World Cup debut, and he's arriving with La Liga numbers in his pocket. If Iraq don't win those first headers, Norway will make the penalty area feel like a crowded elevator.
Whoa, draw ask depth just ballooned back near $1 million. That's a big wall saying no romance, keep it priced. Norway still pinned 8.079, 0.80 with chunky liquidity, so the crowd's leaning favorite and selling any drift like a discipline. You're seeing buyers quietly reinforce the underbelly. Draw bid depth and that 0.13 level both beefed up. Same story on Iraq, 8.06. But the draw ask wall is still massive, so upside is like trying to score through a parked bus. Norway's sell side just thickened right on the touchline. Top ask shifted down to 0.80 with even more size, so rallies are getting headed away at the near post. Until that 0.80-0.81 supply clears, price actions. That draw sell wall just reinflated. Ask depth snapped back toward 930k, so the market's basically rebuilding the barricade. Norway keeps getting fresh support 0.80 from new buyers, but it's still a grind, not a breakaway.
IMO, Holland's first World Cup. This is like a blue chip IPO hitting the market. Give us the finance angle, pressure valuation, and what a goal tonight does to his stock.
Totally. He's priced like a premium growth name already, so expectations are the real headwind. A goal is an earnings beat that can gap the valuation higher fast, but a quiet night feels like a lockup expiry. Profit takers show up immediately.
And there it is, Holland stepping onto the biggest stage for the first time like a racehorse finally out of the gate. When that whistle goes, Norway will be hunting early, and Iraq better be switched on from the very first ball.
Yeah, it's IPO day energy, but the tape says there's a big sell wall, AT 0.80, so even if they open hot, it can get absorbed quickly. Feels like a strong first 10 minutes, then a reset unless they score early.
IMO, Wells Fargo just ran an active cash Visa ad mid-broadcast, 2% cash back, scoring like a 2%er. And our guy jokes he got a yellow card at the checkout. Give us the quick finance take, good deal or marketing fluff?
It's a solid index fund of credit cards. 2% flat is clean, no fancy categories, so the value's real if you pay in full. The fluff is the hype. The real referee is the APR if you carry a balance. Draw just got heavier. Ask depth pops over $1 million, so the market's hedging the stuck at 0.0 script. Norway bid depth slipped and the top ask nudged to 0.81, which screams fatigue at the front of the line. Still favored, but momentum's not.
That ad copy is doing stepovers all over the place. Croissants, cash back, and then Zlatan turning into a lion. I mean, come on. If YouTube TV's tiny tabs can keep up with this chaos, it deserves a man of the match vote on its own. IMO, these ads are wild. Cashback cards getting yellow cards and Zlatan turning into a lion. From a market angle, are streaming bundles and card rewards basically battling like clubs for fan loyalty right now?
Exactly. This is clubs fighting for season ticket holders, just in your wallet and your screen. Bundles lock you in with convenience, rewards bribe you with points, and the winner is whoever keeps churn low when the hype fades.
IMO, these ads are mixing cash back and football like a mad parlay. Wells Fargo 2%, and now YouTube TV pitching plans right into Holland hype. Give us the market angle. Who's really winning this sponsorship game?
Not much price movement, but the story's in the depth. Draw and Iraq are still buried under heavy sell-side supply, so any upset needs real buying pressure to break those walls. Norway steady 80 0.79, 0.80, but that 0.81 offer stack is the...
Holland's stepping onto the biggest stage like he owns the place. One sniff in the box and it's panic stations. And with Asho from Gabon on the whistle, fingers crossed he lets it breathe. Nobody wants VAR and whistles stealing the spotlight.
Draw ask depth just eased a bit, but that 1.1 fiend wall is still a big no entry sign for the optimists. Iraq's offers keep piling up, so the market's basically saying upset money is cheap for a reason. Norway remains the steady captain. Liquidity's deep.
Norway stacked with attacking talent and Burge anchoring midfield. Give us a quick market style take. Are they blue chip favorites or overvalued hype? Captain Martin Odegaard, Premier League winner, conductor's baton in hand, ready to pull strings all night. Sorloth brings the muscle, Noosa brings the fireworks, and they're all orbiting the main event, the one and only Haaland, the human finish button. Erling Haaland on a night like this feels inevitable, like the ball's already halfway to the net before he even swings a boot. If Norway are dreaming of ending that long wait, he's the kind of striker who turns history into highlights in a heartbeat. 40 years is a lifetime in football, and Iraq will feel every second of that hunger in their legs tonight. Graham Arnold's got that World Cup know-how. He'll have them organized, snarling, and believing they can crash the party.
Draw just slipped a tick. Best bid down to 0.12, so that stalemate support is leaking. Norway's book looks healthier on the sell side now, but the offers are still camped 0.81 like a defense holding the line. Iraq remains all supply, very little conviction.
8 wins out of 8. Now that's not just qualifying, that's kicking the door off its hinges. After waiting this long, Norway won't want to tiptoe onto the stage. They'll want to leave boot marks all over it. 21 qualifiers, my word. Iraq have been on a footballing odyssey just to get here, and that kind of grind makes you dangerous. Everyone's staring at Haaland, sure, but that's when the underdog sneaks in with a punch you didn't see coming.
Totally. Grit trades like optionality, cheap, ignored, and it only needs one moment to reprice. But the book screams no sponsorship for Iraq, thin bids and heavy offers. So the value's real, liquidity risk is the tackle from behind. Liquidity just evaporated across the board. This market's gone from Premier League to Sunday League in 2 snapshots. Norway's still favored, but with thinner depth, one sharp move can gap prices hard. Draw and Iraq are basically ghost towns on the bid. That's a whale splash. 500k on Norway, 8.80 is the crowd piling into the favorite like it's a sure penalty. But look at draw in Iraq. Asks parked up at 0.99, basically no real market, so any shock event could gap everything before you can blink.
Absolutely. Norway up top is a sports car, but at the back there's a rattle in the engine. If Iraq press with courage and run at those center halves, they can turn this into a proper scrap, especially with a keeper still finding rhythm. Yeah, that's the blueprint. Win it and go direct. Make those center backs turn and chase, because that's where the cracks can show. If Iraq time those transitions right, one ball over the top and suddenly Norway are sprinting back with their hearts in their mouths.
Now the favorite's getting shakier. Norway slips to 0.79 sign 0.80, and the top ask jumps out to 0.92. Classic, no one wants to sell here bluff, but it also means spreads can explode. Meanwhile, draw and Iraq are just stacked offers 8 to 0.
Ha! That's the danger of co-hosting. 1 minute you're talking tactics, next minute you're getting called dad on live air. Rierson on the ball now, and you can feel Norway trying to play their way out with a bit more swagger. Odegaard just gliding into it like he owns the pitch. Captain's armband, captain's tempo, and Iraq squeezing in with that narrow 4-4-2. They're basically daring Norway. Oh, go on then, beat us out wide, and that's a risky invitation. Odegaard's got that conductor's wand out again. Head up, scanning, pulling strings. Iraq are pinching in so tight it's like a hallway defense. Norway have to stretch them, switch it quick, or they'll get swallowed in the middle. Oh, that ball from Nusa had silk on it, threaded in with real intent, and Holland was a whisker away from snapping it up. That's exactly the antidote to a narrow block. One brave pass, one touch of magic, and suddenly Iraq are scrambling.
Draw and Iraq just got absolutely smothered by cell walls, ass depth north of 600k with that 0.99 ceiling, so upside is capped unless a real shock hits. Norway's still the favorite, but that 0.92 offer stack and the Phantoms 0.0.
55 and 50, those numbers don't walk, they stomp into the stadium. And now Holland on the World Cup stage at 25. You can feel the hunger in every run. Norway just need that one clean delivery and the net could bulge in a heart.
That draw book is getting buried. Ass depth keeps ballooning while price can't lift, so it's like a team pinned in its own half, just clearing lines. Norway's unchanged 8 to 0.79, 0.80, but with that 0.92 wall overhead, the market's draw probability ticks down and the sell side just keeps piling up. 760k of offers is a parking the bus defense against any draw rally. Norway bids firm up in depth, but with that 0.92 wall, upside's like trying to score past a packed 6-yard box.
That's the unglamorous graft, isn't it? Everyone watches Holland, but this lad's doing the dirty work, shuttling out wide and nailing his defensive duties. In a shape that morphs on the fly, that discipline is gold dust, keeps the team balanced so the stars can sparkle. And that's the trade-off. One man sacrifices, Holland stays central like a shark circling. Free kick for Hussein now, and you can feel the tempo twitch. One decent delivery here, and suddenly Norway's backline has to switch on sharp as a... Exactly. Keep Holland parked in the danger zone and let the others do the legwork around him. But here comes Hussein over the dead ball again, and those are the moments that flip matches. One swing, one glance, and it's panic stations. Oof, that was the chance. Ashim hangs it back across the face, and for a split second you can smell danger in the air. Hussein just can't get the compass right, and Norway breathe out like they've dodged a speeding bus.
Norway's bid depth just snapped back hard, over 200k now, so that little wobble looks more like a quick shakeout than a full-on collapse. But the draw is getting juiced up to 0.16 with a monster sell wall still looming, like the market...
Absolutely. Mirak's got them on the front foot, and that's brave because sitting in your own box is like inviting a storm into your living room. Push up, nick second balls, make it uncomfortable. Otherwise, Holland and company will start setting up camp. You can see the intent. Mirak's telling them don't hide, because if you drop too deep, you're basically handing Norway the keys and saying, go on then, take your time. This is the right kind of stubborn, and it's making the game spark.
Yeah, that's margin trading in cleats. Works until one bad touch and you're liquidated in transition. If the whistle tightens, expect a quick repricing. Favorites get clipped, draw, and underdogs catch a bid on stoppages and nerves.
Exactly. Once he's in front, it's Ashim's ball and Ashim's decision, and Norway are gambling with a clumsy nudge. That's the kind of little free kick that breaks up press and buys you a breath. Yeah, once he's got his body between man and ball, it's basically checkmate, any shove, and the ref's reaching for the whistle. Clever, calm, and it takes the sting right out of Norway's pressure. Norway's numbers are outrageous. 37 scored, 5 conceded. Give me a quick market angle, efficiency, risk management, and what that kind of dominance usually does to opponents psychologically.
Totally. Those stats are like a blue chip with monster margins, so the market pays up and liquidity crowds the favorite. Risk is complacency. One shot goal is a sudden drawdown, but psychologically opponents often bunker and play not to lose, which quiet... That's a big tell. Norway's still 0.78, 0.79. But bid depth just collapsed to 22K while sell side stays heavy. Classic price to perfection favorite. Iraq ticked up 2 quads 07, euro 0.08, so any early scare and you'll see a... Now we've got real two-way interest. Norway bid depth reloaded to 185K, but Iraq's bid depth also surged with that chunky 0.06 level. Someone's buying the upset insurance. Price hasn't moved much, so this feels like positioning before a key moment, not a reaction.
That's the danger with leaving it even a yard. Holland sniffing around like a shark, and suddenly everyone's panicking. They didn't drop in time, the line's all jagged, and you can feel Norway ready to pounce on the next mistake.
Norway just got nudged down a tick to 0.7770.78, and the big headline is that massive 0.79 sell wall, 411K shares, like parking the bus right on the goal line. Draws creeping up too, so the market's basically saying, prove it on the pitch before...
This group feels like a tightrope. No freebies, one mistake, and you're punished. Give us the market analogy. Is this like a high volatility sector where one bad earnings report wipes you out?
Exactly. This is a high beta tape. You can look stable for 80 minutes, then one error is an earnings miss and the whole price gaps. That's why you see hedging into draw and long shot Iraq, even with Norway favored. Risk management over bravado. Norway's still pinned 8077.78, but that 0.79 offer wall is basically a ceiling, supply waiting to fade any rally. Meanwhile, draw and Iraq bids are steady, so the market's braced for a scrappy game where one moment flips the script.
Yeah, Al-Amari's often the heartbeat of Iraq's moves, and on set pieces, he's the one you circle in red. Delivery, disguise the lot, give him a stationary ball, and suddenly it's chaos in the 6-yard box. Here we go. This is exactly where Iraq look fearless, sliding it down that left like they own the touchline. Al-Amari over it again, and you can feel the crowd lean in. It fizzles out, but that intent is loud and clear.
Norway just snapped back to 0.777.78 with bid depth back near 194K. Buyers stepped in like a quick counterattack after a wobble. But that 0.79 sell wall is even fatter again, so upside's capped unless something on-field forces a breakout.
Dusky on it again, and Al-Hamadi sniffing around like a striker who's smelled dinner. One clean touch, one sharp layoff, and this could open up in a flash. Defenders can't switch off for a second here. Harlan's, when he gets into his stride, feels like a blue-chip stock ripping higher. One bounce and the whole backline panics. Got a quick market analogy for that kind of momentum risk?
Totally, he's like a crowded momentum name. Quiet tape, then one catalyst, and you get a gap up with shorts scrambling to cover. Defenders start overhedging, step too deep, and suddenly the fair price is 2 ticks higher in a heartbeat.
Absolutely. Once he's got it under his studs and he's facing you, you're already in trouble. It's like trying to stop a tide with your hands. You've got to kill the supply early, because if those crosses start flying in, he turns the box into his personal hunting ground. Spot on. Cut the cable to the striker and the whole machine stutters. And that starts with Odegaard, because he's the one threading needles for fun. If midfield don't get tight and nasty, Harlan's getting fed, and then it's curtains.
Norway's price is steady at 0.770.78, but the bid depth just thinned out. Support's a bit less convincing even if the scoreboard odds haven't moved. Meanwhile, the draw stays sticky, 80.16 or 0.17, like the market's still bracing for a KG10 or 0.
Iraq have got that rhythm right. Press and burst, then drop like a trapdoor, and it's really unsettling, the buildup. Even a little slice on the clearance tells you they're forcing rushed decisions, and the backline can't breathe when they're on the ball. Iraq are reading it beautifully, pressing like a swarm, then snapping back into shape, and it's making every touch from the back four feel like it's under a microscope. You can hear the panic in those sliced clearances. That's pressure doing its job.
Now this is a liquidity air pocket. Draw and Iraq bid depth just collapsed, so any real money can shove prices around. On Norway, that 0.79 sell wall got yanked from 400K shares to 94K. If buyers press, this can pop like a late goal swing.
Just to throw in, but don't be fooled, those are little set pieces in disguise when the tempo's like this. One quick movement, one lapse of concentration, and suddenly it's chaos in the channel. He's talking about a fullback bombing on like a winger Bundesliga assist machine, then a crunching challenge, maybe a follow-through. Any quick market analogy on risk, reward, and timing?
Yep, that's like a high beta breakout trade. Huge upside when it works, but you're exposed the moment you're overextended. One mistimed tackle is the equivalent of a volatility spike. Suddenly you're paying the spread and praying VAR doesn't turn it into a red.
That fullback's basically a winger. Bundesliga assist machine. Challenge looked fair, but the follow-through caught him. Feels like a good contact versus costly foul moment, like a trade that's right on thesis but blows up on execution. Your take?
Exactly. Thesis was spot on, but execution risk is what gets you stopped out. It's like nailing direction and then slipping on the fill. One extra tick of aggression turns a clean tackle into a penalty-level headline. We're still in that thin liquidity regime. Draw and Iraq bids are basically a puddle, so any shove moves the line fast. Norway's holding Sorsev 0.78, but with only 994k sitting 80.79, one decent buy wave, and you're through the next defense. Big change on Norway. That nearby 0.79 offer vanished, and the next real sell interest is way up at 0.92, so the upside is suddenly wide open if buyers step in. Draw asks ballooned again, so the market's basically parking the bus there.
Oh, that first touch from Al Hamadi is pure velvet. Then he gifts it away and snatches it back like a pickpocket with a conscience. Bayesh whips the cross in, and suddenly Algeria are asking real questions in the box. Ayer gets it away, but that was a warning shot. Al Hamadi had a real look and just couldn't keep it down. The two forwards are linking beautifully, and you can see Norway's center backs already backing off, nervous of getting turned. Ayer hacks it clear, but that's a massive early chance. Al Hamadi just couldn't get it to dip. Iraq's front two are combining like they've got magnets in their boots, and Norway's center backs are retreating fast, terrified of a foot race. Reesum surges on again. He's got that fullback swagger, stretching the pitch like elastic, and those Dortmund assist numbers don't lie. Only Olise topped him, so every time he gets his head up, you feel danger brewing. You can see it already. Reesum is the width, the runway, the whole right flank rolled into one. Odegaard tucks in like a chess grandmaster, and that movement just peels the pitch open for the overlap. It's slick, it's smart, it's Norway turning the screw. That's the key. Full-backs and wingers have to keep getting fed because Norway live and die by those deliveries into the mixer. And hey, holding Spain to 1-1 in a warm-up isn't nothing. That's a little don't sleep on us postcard to the rest of Europe.
Norway's still pinned 80.76, 0.77, but that offer stack staying up 80.96 tells you sellers are refusing to show their hand. Thin air above if a buyer hits the gas. Draw and Iraq remain all ask heavy, so the crowd's leaning favorite wins, just not paying up.
You need that supply line humming, Ryzen on the right, Nusar on the left, keep them wide and keep the crosses coming like waves. And that 1-1 with Spain in the warm-up, that's a little warning flare. This side can bite if you let them breathe. IMO, they're talking warm-up form swings. Held Spain, then slipped versus Venezuela with heavy subs. Feels like a stock with volatility before earnings. How much do you trust those pre-tournament indicators?
Not much new price-wise. Norway's still stuck at 0.76, 0.77, but the story is that 0.96 ask cliff remains. So sellers are basically parking the bus and daring buyers to break through. Draw and Iraq are drowning in offers, which screams consensus favorite.
105 caps. Listen, that's not a goalkeeper. That's a national monument between the posts. Every time he comes out to sweep, you can feel the calm spread through the back line like a steady hand on the tiller. That press is snapping shut like a trap, front line hunting in packs, and the high line squeezes the pitch until there's nowhere to breathe. You can see the defenders stepping up with real courage, and suddenly every touch feels rushed. They're jumping on Ayer the moment he breathes on it. Tight, aggressive, smelling blood, and Norway are being herded into those safe sideways passes. And now Bashir's coming on. Fresh legs at a brutal moment. This could flip the tempo in a heartbeat. Those wins over Italy were thunderclaps in qualifying. Norway basically kicked the door down and announced themselves to Europe. But tournament football's a different beast, my friend. Reputations don't defend corners, and tonight they've got to earn every inch.
Now that Norway ask wall 8077 has thinned back down, it feels like the earlier wobble was more a shakeout than a trend change. Price still holding 0.75 while it's 0.76. Draw and Iraq remain massively offer heavy, so the market's still...
Hegeman coming off a Bologna season, you know he's learned to love the ugly side of the game. Tight spaces, sharp elbows, no freebies. And Ayer's in that same pressure cooker now because this press is asking questions every single touch.
Norway slips again, 2.74, 0.75. This is the favorite taking a step back after a couple heavy tackles, and you can see buyers getting a slightly better entry. Meanwhile, Iraq's offer stack just exploded up at 0.98, so nobody's seriously pricing the upset.
Norway finally slow cooking it, and Noose is the one stirring the pot. Holland drops in, trying to drag defenders out of their seats. Free kick coming, and you can feel the crowd tense up. Sandberg over it. This is a moment to whip in real danger.
Draw just firmed up to 0.18, 0.19, while Norway stays pinned 0.74, 0.75. So the market's quietly pricing a bit more scrappy stalemate risk. And Norway bid depth is thinning, which tells you the Bulls are still ahead on the scoreboard, but they're not pressing anymore. Draw ticks up to 19%, and you can feel the nil-nil insurance getting bought, even as Iraq liquidity dries up fast on the bid side. Norway's still steady, 8s to 0.74, 0.75, but with ask depth collapsing, one clean push could...
Noosa again, absolutely the right outlet because he's got that electric first step that makes defenders backpedal like they've seen a ghost. He sizes up his marker, shoulder dip, and you're just waiting for that burst to light the fuse. That's top-class defending, reads it early, sprints out like his life depends on it, and wins the throw with pure urgency. He knows Rezin's the kind who needs one touch to turn it into a chance, so he shuts the door before the key even turns. Ooh, that's the warning flare. One moment you're pinned, next it's Bayesh galloping into space like he's nicked it off the back of a truck. And credit to the lad getting up quickly too, because this counter could turn nasty in a heartbeat.
Not a ton of price movement, but the tone's a touch healthier for Norway. Ask depth comes in from 5.59k to 492k, so that sell wall is thinning. Draw is still stuck 0.18, 0.19 with massive offers, meaning the crowd's...
Friday's got a bit of box office about it. USA and Australia coming back on the stage after flying out of the blocks. Set your clocks, because if they bring that same energy again, we're in for fireworks from the first whistle. Circle Friday, because USA and Australia have come out swinging in this tournament, and they're back for another round. Kickoff vibes start early, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Get the coffee on and the volume up. Pacific time, get ready. Those opening performances were pure statement football, and now they collide. And here's Noosa. You can feel it, can't you? He gets it at his feet, and suddenly defenders start backpedaling like they've seen a ghost. Pacific viewers, don't blink. USA and Australia have set the tone, and now it's head-to-head proper heavyweight stuff. And Noosa on the ball. This is his playground. He squares you up, and you're praying he doesn't hit the turbo. Corner coming for Norway, and Iran just can't get it out. Noosa is a live wire, pure electricity down that flank. He's so direct, you don't know if he's cutting in or burning outside, and even when the cross doesn't land, it still sparks chaos. Refs stepping in at a packed Norway corner. Real set-piece chaos. Feels like a volatile market. One tiny shove, and it's a big swing. What's your take on how officials regulate these moments like circuit breakers?
Norway just took a small step back, 0.73, 0.74 now, so the market's shaving a bit of confidence even with that 75% headline. Meanwhile, draw bids are firming 8-0 with deeper support, classic nil-nil hedge behavior as traders brace for a grind.
It's a packed penalty area now, bodies everywhere, and the ref's edging in like a bouncer at closing time. He knows what's coming. Defenders hate this. One little screen, even from your own teammate, and you're chasing shadows as the corner swings in. Oof, he climbed like he had springs in his boots, but he can't quite get over it. Heads it up instead of down, and the chance slips away. Norway's got skyscrapers in that box, though, and you can feel another big moment brewing on the next delivery. He rises above the crowd, fantastic leap, but the contact isn't clean, can't keep it down, and it balloons away. Still, Norway's aerial power is a constant threat. You miss one like that, and you're already thinking about the next corner.
Iraq just caught a little bid up to 0.9, so someone's pricing a bit more upset juice, even if the win prob hasn't budged. But the big story is supply. Draw and Norway ask depth ballooned, like defenders parking the bus and making it harder for prices to break out.
He gets there, no doubt, out-jumps everyone, but he can't get his forehead over it, so it floats instead of dipping, and the danger evaporates. But with that kind of height, every set piece feels like a lottery ticket that might just cash.
Draw just ticked up to Euro 19.2 and the win prob nudges 20%. That's the market leaning into a stalemate narrative. Norway's still pinned at 0.73, 0.74, with a chunky wall sitting right on the ask, so upside needs a real catalyst, not vibes. Interesting shift. Norway bid depth just thinned hard while price stays 0.73, so 0.74. Looks like some support pulled, so the favorite's a bit more fragile if momentum flips. Iraq ticks to 9%, and the draw book keeps...
Elham El Amadi is hovering for scraps, and that two-man combo is causing real headaches. One stretches, the other hunts the rebound. They're mixing direct play with spells of possession, but you're screaming for that final pass to be a touch sharper. Now, can they spin in behind and make it a straight 2-on-2 against those Norway center backs? Because that's where the panic lives. There's the carry, head up, driving into space. One good run, and this could crack wide open.
Now that's a confidence check. Fresh size comes in on Norway around 0.75, and suddenly the offer side looks a lot cleaner, like a team finally pushing the back line up. Draw and Iraq bid depth both got yanked, so the scrappy stalemate hedge is losing some believers. Whoa, draw and Iraq bid depth basically vanished. Bids parked down at 0.01, so liquidity just got pulled like fans heading for the exits early. Norway's still 0.73, 0.74, but with that vacuum underneath, any shock headline could gap this market.
He's single-minded, isn't he? Gets it, and it's, where's the door? I'm kicking it in. They've just chopped him down again, and Norway are basically saying, give it to Nusa and let chaos do the rest.
Iraq just slipped to 0.07 to 0.08, and the win prob ticks down. Money's basically waving the white flag on the upset. Meanwhile, Norway's offer stack swelled again, so even with the favorite intact, it's like trying to score against a packed box.
Last kick before the hydration break. This is where you steal a goal and steal everyone's breath with it. Norway are hovering like sharks over the ball. One perfect whip, and it's party time. Miss it, and it's a long walk to the water bottles. Rearson's shaping it like he wants that far post curl, and he's waving the cavalry in. Attack it, attack it! Hassan's in no man's land here. Does he come and claim or wait for the nick? And here comes the delivery. This could be the hinge of the night. Rearson's trying to bend it wickedly to that far stick, and he's barking at the runners to crash the 6-yard box. Hassan's frozen between bravery and caution. One touch, and it's chaos. Riesentoft's winding up now. Hold on to your seats.
Norway just softened a tick to 0.72, does use 0.73, and win prob dips to 73%. Not panic, but the market's taking a little profit off the favorite. At the same time, draw bid depth refilled hard, so the grinded out crowd is back on the pitch and volatility's rising.
And Hassan rises like he owns the sky, claims it clean, no drama, and Norway's runners have to slam the brakes. First time these two have ever danced, and you can feel both sides still testing the rhythm. Bayesh now, can they turn defense into a punch? Hassan plucks it out of the air like it's a training ground catch. Sorloth never even gets a sniff. First ever meeting, and you can sense the nerves and curiosity in every touch. Bayesh on the ball now, looking to spark something.
This is getting top-heavy fast. Norway and the draw both have massive sell walls, so upside is capped unless a real catalyst hits. Iraq's bid stack crept up at T.06, but 88%, it's still a long shot punt.
Cooling break comes at a funny time, but it's probably welcome. This has been a proper arm wrestle out there. Iraq aren't just hanging on, they're trading blows, and at 0-0 you can feel the next chance might light the fuse when we're back. IMO, that ad's talking, getting warmed up. Give us a quick market spin. Which sectors are heating up right now and which are cooling off like this match's water break?
Yeah, Leo, the warm-up trade right now is AI infrastructure. Semis, data centers, and power names still look like they've got fresh legs. Cooling off is rate-sensitive stuff like small caps and parts of commercial real estate, plus some consumer discretionary that...
Ha! Cooling break, and we get an ad that's more end-to-end than the match. I played in high school, mate. Half the viewers just pulled a hamstring laughing. Let's get back to the real heat on the pitch, yeah?
That's a notable change. Iraq bid depth just exploded, and the top bid is now sitting right 0.07 with huge size, so someone's building a real defensive wall under the long shot. Norway's probability slips to 72%, and with that heavy...
The commercials are having their own World Cup here. No icing, a bath, and a Lay's leg flying in like a wild tackle. But the real bandwagon's on the grass, and this Bogu feels like it's begging for one moment of madness to break it open.
Iraq just ticked up to 0.08, 0.09 and win prob to 9%. That's real money lifting the underdog, not just noise. With that monster bid still parked at 0.07, it feels like Iraq's got a solid backline now, while Norway stays favored but can't break away.
IMO, these ads are throwing more curveballs than the match. Wordplay bandwagons, lays leg. Give us your market take. Are brands spending like it's a bull run during the World Cup? That's the spirit. Wordplay's doing more dribbling than some midfields tonight. If the finishing's as sharp as that lays leg gag, we're about to see this game finally catch fire. IMO, these ads are hotter than the match. DirecTV got hot and that lays leg pun. Give us a quick market style take. Who's winning the sponsorship game and why?
Totally, Leo. Sponsorship winners are the brands that turn eyeballs into measurable clicks and signups, like a team that converts possession into shots on target. Streamers, sportsbooks, and payments names tend to edge it because... Yeah, Leo, when guaranteed low prices is the headline, margins are the first thing getting slide tackled. The winners are the scale players with tight supply chains, while smaller retailers risk a race to the bottom and ugly earnings surprises.
Messi leaves Argentina on the promo. Steady, Fox. That's a headline with studs showing. If he's anywhere near the pitch tonight, Algeria better keep the lines tight because one slip and he'll turn it into a highlight reel in a heartbeat. Polo wins again like a striker padding stats. Relentless stuff. But back to the football. Iraq looking composed. That's a team finding its rhythm. And Norway will have to crank the tempo or they'll get lulled into trouble.
Norway's back to 0.7 to 0.73 and the bid depth keeps swelling. Buyers are pressing higher up the pitch and forcing the price. Iraq slips to 8% with heavy offers 8.09, so any bounce looks like it'll get sold into fast.
Danny's nailed it. When Norway have to be the ones with the brush, the picture gets shaky and Odgaard's been a ghost in a white shirt so far. He's got to drop in, demand it, and spark something or Iraq will...
Absolutely, that's the Nvidia-style move. One headline play, and the whole market reprices the story in real time. When a star delivers on the biggest stage, momentum traders pile in, and suddenly the valuation looks justified.
Norway are being handed the steering wheel and they're driving like it's on. Absolutely. Seiler sets the table by dropping in, and that Mueller-Volter run is pure timing, smelling the 2v1 like a striker. Seiler sparks it by dropping in, and Mueller-Volter times that overlap perfectly to win the 2v1. The cross is delicious, and Holland's there like a tax bill, inevitable. Right place, right time, finish, done. It's the classic problem. Norway with the ball, but not with the bite, and Iraq are loving every second of it. Odgaard can't be a passenger here. Come short, spin, take risks, because if he stays quiet, this game stays stuck. That's a marathon. That's Norway in a nutshell. With runners, and then the big man arrives like he's got a map to the 6-yard box. Haaland's barely unpacked his suitcase at this World Cup, and he's already stamping his name on it.
Order book just went full blowout. Norway implied jumps to 85% with Iraq, draw bids evaporating. Classic momentum stampede after a goal. Crowds all on the favorite now. Talk about how one big moment flips belief like a stadium roar.
Spot on, Amo. One goal and the whole market panics like defenders chasing Holland's shadow. That belief swing is instant. Iraq's odds melt away, Norway's confidence surges, and suddenly every pass feels heavier for the...
This is a full-on blowout. Norway's up at 86% with the spread tight 0.85, 0.86, while Iraq and the draw are basically penny stock territory with no real bids. Feels like the market's calling the match early. Late buyers...
You could feel it brewing. The World Cup lights come on and Holland just plugs straight into them. He's built for this theater, and the moment a cross even sniffs the box, he's there like destiny. The World Cup spotlight hits and Holland doesn't blink. He owns it. You always sense it with him. Give him one half chance in that area and it's curtains like the script was written before kickoff.
Norway's now priced like a near lock at 0.88, 0.89. This is the crowd doing the game management trade and squeezing out any doubt. On the other side, draw and Iraq liquidity is basically evaporating, so even small sells can gap them lower fast. Norway just crossed the 90 handle, 8.90, 0.91, and that bid depth jumping to 330k says the big money's parking the bus and protecting the lead. The draw bid woke up a bit, but the ask wall is still a skyscraper. Upset backers are basically taking shots from midfield.
That is video game stuff. 56 in 51, a striker's cheat code in a national shirt. Every time Norway get it wide, you can almost hear the net bracing itself.
We just saw a little profit taking. Norway slips back to 0.88, 0.89, and the bid depth thins out, so the sure thing trade isn't as crowded. Meanwhile, the draw is getting a real bid up at 0.06, like the underdog finally winning a few second balls and making the favorite sweat.
He's like a sprinter waiting for the gun. Quiet, economical, then bang, he's gone. And hold on, Iraq are trying to bite back here. That ball's been launched with intent. Norway can't switch off for a second now. He's a predator in cruise control, barely moving, saving the fuel, then he detonates into space, and now Iraq fancy a reply. Al-Hamadi whipping it in with real purpose. This is the moment Norway have to stand tall.
Norway snaps right back to 9.91 with chunky depth on both sides. Buyers are back in control, and the market's treating that dip like a quick substitution, not a tactical shift. Draw and Iraq are still thin and heavy on the offer, so any comeback narrative has to fight a big wall of sellers. Absolutely. Holland's movement is like steady institutional accumulation. He keeps showing up in the right pockets, tightening supply until the pass becomes the only fill available. Unselfish runs are his buy orders. He doesn't need the headline, he just moves the price.
You're thinking he'll smash it himself, but he's laid it off, selfless, ruthless, and it keeps the defense guessing. Noose is back on it again, quick feet, head up. This is starting to feel like a wave Iraq can't quite clear. Volta does the sensible thing and wins the corner, but that left side is absolutely cooking. Noosa's first touch inside is dragging defenders like magnets. Suddenly, it's 2-on-1 city out there, and Norway are finding space like it's been painted on the grass. Corner forced, and you can feel Norway's left flank turning into a conveyor belt of trouble. Noosa darts inside, and the markers follow like they've been hypnotized. That's when the overlap screams free real estate, and suddenly it's 2-on-1 chaos every time. Holland's getting manhandled on that left side surge, almost like defenders are hedging by grabbing him. Quick take, how do refs manage that fine line between physical marking and outright holding?
Totally. This is the market's headline risk moment. One whistle can gap the price like an earnings surprise. If the ref books someone or gives a dangerous free kick, momentum flips fast, and the favorite suddenly looks like it's defending a one-goal lead with shaky. Draw just got a little bid, 0.08. Yep, that's the referee as the Fed. One decision and the whole curve reprices instantly. Advantage for Norway is like a breakout on volume. Shorts scramble, hedges get ripped off, and suddenly the safe side looks inevitable again.
Oski's trying to keep the temperature down, but this match is simmering like a kettle that won't switch off. Every little nudge is getting magnified, and you can sense the next decision could light the fuse. Rierson swings it in with real purpose, danger written all over that delivery. The defenders are backpedaling, the keepers hesitating, and Norway are sniffing blood in that box right now. IMO, they're name-dropping France, Argentina, Ronaldo, top nations like blue chip stocks entering the tournament. Give us your quick market favorites versus dark horses take while this free kick brews.
Absolutely. Those giants trade like blue chips, expensive, liquid, and everyone already owns them, so the upside's capped unless they deliver a statement game. The dark horses are your small caps, one set-piece goal, and you get a violent repricing, but the drawdowns are nasty too.
Free kick to Norway. This is the kind of moment where the stadium holds its breath and the wall starts doing maths. And yeah, the big guns are rolling in today. France, Argentina, Portugal, everyone flexing, but right now it's all about this delivery. Tomorrow's got that proper World Cup buffet, Congo on the menu, and then England versus Croatia, a fixture that always comes with a bit of bite. You can already hear the drums warming up, and the coverage will be absolutely buzzing.
You can see the draw hedge cooling off, price slips to 0.07, 0.08. Even with decent bid depth, like dip buyers losing conviction, Norway's still pinned 8.0890, 0.91, so the market's basically saying, advantage moment passed, favorite still in control. Norway's bid depth just thinned out, 263k down from 305k, so the favorite's still priced like a lock, but the support underneath is getting a bit less muscular. Draw stays stuck at 7-8 cents with that massive ask overhang, so the market's not buying the...
So Locke skips past Sandberg again. He's playing like he's got springs in his boots, and the coach is still barking about that contact on the arm, trying to buy a whistle with pure volume. They've got to keep their heads here, no wild chasing, because that's how you get punished twice. Nice switch to Hussein Ali. The cross comes in, but Rierson stands tall and clears Bub, and Solik buys the free kick, clever as you like. That early spark is still there, but they've got to be smart. No kamikaze football after conceding. Yassine slides it to Hussein Ali, Esh bends in a teasing cross, Rierson clears his lines, and Solak nicks a free kick to reset the tempo.
Big shift. Norway's cell wall just got pulled. Ask depth collapses to about 249k, and the top offer tightens to 0.92. That's classic let it run behavior. Meanwhile, draw liquidity evaporates on the bids.
That's the graft you love to see. Solak tracking back like a man possessed, doing the dirty work so the shape doesn't fall apart. Norway morphs in and out of that system, and he's the glue on the right. And don't forget, he sparked the goal too with that killer pass. Yeah, you can feel it. He's starting to fade a touch after all that lung-busting work up and down the flank. When your winger's doing fullback miles, the legs don't lie, and Norway will sniff that space if he can't get back in time.
That drawbook just refilled fast. Bid depth back to 12.6k, but it's still dwarfed by a monster ask wall, so it's more hedging than belief. Norway's sell-side liquidity is back too, which tells you traders are taking profits and keeping the favorite capped.
Oof, that's the chance. Garland feeds solo and Erdogan drags it wide when the goal was begging. Norway's press is biting, Hollander coughing it up, but that final decision, a bit too me in the moment. That's a let-off for Holland, Garland to solo, and Erdogan snatches at it, pulls it wide with the net winking at him. Norway's press is forcing mistakes, but that finish screams impatience. Pass it and it's curtains.
Draw's getting a little more two-way now, bid depth up again, and the top bid stepping to boat 06, so someone's nibbling at the upset insurance. But Norway's still sitting at 91% with a thickening ask stack, like a team protecting a one-goal lead and happily killing.
There it is again. Erdogan's in the pocket, and he's got to make it count. Just tidy it. Ooh, a sending off. This game's just flipped on its head. Ali Yassine
Absolutely, Leo. Red card is the earnings shock. The favorite's guidance gets yanked and spreads widen as everyone reprices in real time. You'll see fast hedging into draw underdog, and the old Norway longs start taking chips off like a team suddenly.
What a story this is. Norway back on the grandest stage after 28 years, and those old World Cup memories come flooding in. And Graham Arnold bowing out after dragging Australia into the last 16. That's legacy stuff, that is. An equalizer, bang. The stadium just inhaled and exhaled at once.
Yep, that's pure volatility regime. Bang. Norway just lost its blue chip status and traded like a high beta name after a profit warning, while Draw and Iraq catch the flight to optionality bid. Norway's odds should gap wider fast, and any bounce gets sold until the market sees they can still create chances. Draw offers are swelling again, nearly 700k on the ask, so every little uptick is getting met by sellers, not believers. Norway's still pinned around 0.90, 0.91, which screams controlled game, but if that favorite bid ever slips, the draw.
We've got an equalizer right after a red card. Momentum swing like a market shock. Give us your volatility take. Who benefits when the game turns chaotic like this? We've got a red card, and now Iraq have leveled at 1-1. Massive momentum swing. Give us your market reaction take. Who's the blue chip now? Who's crashing? And what does this do to Norway's odds? Young blood on the biggest stage, that's priceless experience, and you can feel the belief growing with every touch. Al-Hamari's lurking like a spark near dry grass here. One clean moment, and this could ignite again.
There's the repricing. Norway's been marked down hard from the 90s to around 70%, and that's the market admitting the red card equalizer changed the whole script. But look at the books. Draw and Iraq have thin bid depth versus huge offers. Norway's clawing back a couple points to 0.71, 0.72. Classic dead cat bounce after the shock, but it's still the favorite. The tell is draw bids stepping up hard 80.20 with deeper demand, yet that massive draw ask wall means rally.
We've just seen an absolute thunderbolt of a header, momentum swing, crowd roaring. Give me a quick market reaction analogy. How does a sudden game-changing goal feel in trading terms?
That's a surprise CPI print hitting the tape, price gaps instantly, stops get blown through, and everyone scrambles to re-hedge at worse levels. The crowd noise is basically volume spiking, and the next few minutes trade like pure momentum. Yep, AT11, the blue chip is still Norway, but it's no longer a risk-free bond. It's trading like a quality stock in a volatility spike. The draw just got repriced as the hot momentum name, and Iraq stays the penny stock under constant sell pressure. Big shift. Draw and Iraq bid depth just evaporated, so those prices are basically air pockets if selling hits. Norway's book is now balanced bid to ask and still money 172. Feels like the favorites regained control, playing keep ball.
He's got that knack for writing the last line in the story, doesn't he? Winner in the qualifier, and now he's doing it on the grandest stage. When the lights get brighter, he somehow gets sharper, ice in the veins. That's a man who stamps the passport himself, winner in the last qualifier, and now he's signing the World Cup page with another one. You can feel the belief surge through the team like electricity. This is leadership in goals. We got a 1-1 swing. Momentum just flipped with a gorgeous assist. Give me your market reaction take. Who's the blue chip now and who's suddenly under pressure? Al-Armani again, midfielder with a winger's instincts, drifting left and whipping in danger like it's second nature. And that's the defender's nightmare. You hesitate for half a second, you pass the runner on, and bang, someone's free in the box. 1-1 now.
Norway's ticking up 272-73 and the bid depth is back. Buyers are stepping in like a topside squeezing after conceding. The draw's got a firmer bid at 0-1, but that massive offer stack overhead says rallies can still get sold into fast.
Al-Armani's playing like a chess grandmaster in boots, slides left, draws the marker, and suddenly the box is wide open for that killer delivery. Erdegord switches off for a heartbeat, expecting help that never comes, and at this level, that's fatal. The tempo's up. Oh, that's a big intervention from Zayed Chausin. Snuffs it out just as Norway were winding up to pull the trigger. Now they've got to reset and go again, but you can sense they've got runners itching to break beyond the line. This is getting tense. Every attack feels like it could swing the whole night. Rearson in the middle, steady head, strong frame, and he's trying to knit it together under pressure. You can see Norway wanting to build through him, but the space is tight and the next pass has to be brave. One clean turn and they're suddenly running at the back line.
Now that's a real jolt. Iraq collapses to a 2% handle and the draw slips under .20. Market's basically saying game over for the upset. But look at Norway's spread blowing out to 0.75, 0.85 with thin bids.
Amo, Norway are fuming at that goal kick call. Rearson shielding it, whistle goes the other way. Feels like one of those market sentiment moments. One decision and the whole stadium mood swings. Give us your take.
Nailed it. One referee call is a macro shock in miniature. Nothing changed on the pitch, but everyone trades the emotion. Momentum turns into a breakout candle and suddenly spreads widen because nobody wants to be the one catching the falling knife.
Huge defensive blunder at the back. Norway pounced like a trader spotting a mispriced asset. Jump in with a quick market.
Absolutely. When a striker like that's hunting, every touch is a live quote and you can't afford sloppy execution. Smart teams de-risk with simpler passes and clearances because one overconfident dribble is basically selling volatility right before the spike.
That tiny step back is all Haaland needs. He smells hesitation like blood in the water. You've got to attack that ball because if you wait, you're basically teeing it up off his shin and into trouble. He's relentless, a one-man press.
Now you're seeing the closeout trade. Norway's drifted up to 90-91 with a big jump in bid depth, so the market's leaning into the finish. But that draw book is a minefield with goofy levels, so one late set piece, and you'll get a nasty fast repricing.
Imo, that goal was pure market punishment. One tiny error and Haaland cashes in instantly. Give us your take. How do teams manage risk when a predator like that is pressing every touch? That's the thing. His engine is as lethal as his left. Oh no, that's sloppy in the worst possible area. One loose touch and suddenly Iraq are chasing shadows again. You can feel the frustration boiling. They just hauled themselves level and then gift wrap danger like it's a holiday.
Norway's still pinned at 90-91, but the story is the depth. Buyers are stacking size, so dips are getting...
Solotov's just coughed it up and Iraq are suddenly in self-destruct mode. After all that hard work to draw level, they're handing momentums. It's a gut punch of a concession, one of those you see in slow motion and still can't believe it's happening, the kind that makes defenders stare at their boots and goalkeepers stare into the void. Oh, that's a studio with more ego and goals than a highlight reel. Thierry Zlatan, Alexei, you can almost hear the net trembling. I can't wait to hear them tear into that defending and then tip their hat to Haaland's hunger. Imo, we've got Thierry, Zlatan, and Alexei coming up for halftime thoughts. Give us your market reaction take. Who's trending up after that chaotic first half and who's just taken a nasty hit?
Yeah, after that chaos, Norway's trending up. Money's treating them like the blue chip that survives the volatility. Iraq's taken the nasty hit, and the draw's basically the hope trade getting sold into. One more swing, and it's a full-on momentum wrap.
Yeah, that's the killer. It's not a crime of intent, it's a crime of hesitation. The keeper waits for the picture-perfect moment, And football doesn't wait for anyone. Hamadi pounces and suddenly Iraq's rebuild turns back into rubble.
Norway's price is steady at 90.91, but the tell is the thinner ask now, less supply overhead so it can grind higher on small buys. Draw is still a crowded short with that massive ask wall, like a team parking the bus and daring chaos to break it. Norway's still the heavy favorite, but notice the win prob ticking from 91 to 90. Tiny wobble, not a trend, more like a team taking a breather after pressing. The real signal is Iraq, and the draw remain buried under enormous sell walls, so upside their... Big shift in the tape. Draw bid depth just collapsed, and Norway bid depth is thinning too. Liquidity stepping back, which makes any surprise headline hit harder. Price hasn't moved yet, but this is that crowd holds its breath moment before the next swing. We're seeing liquidity come back in, draw bid depth rebuilt from that air pocket, and Norway bids firmed up too, so the market's stabilizing after the scare. But those giant 0.99 sell walls on draw and Iraq are still like...
5 added minutes, just enough time for one more twist in this drama. Volta's furious, and I get it. It's one of those I've seen worse challenges, but the ref's drawn a line and he's sticking to it. Ref's given a soft-looking free kick on Volta with 5 added minutes. Feels like a market overreaction. Give us your take. Is this a priced-in call or a late-half volatility spike that changes the risk for both sides?
Totally. This is the classic whistle risk that isn't priced until it's on the spot, and with thin pockets, it can gap fast. Norway's still the favorite, but late stoppage is like a corner in the 95th. One bounce and the draw Iraq tail suddenly...
Ref's given the free kick and Volta's livid. Feels like a soft call in 5 minutes of stoppage time. From your angle, Amo, that's like a market overreaction, right? Quick take on how teams should manage risk in these frantic added minutes.
Yeah, it's an overreaction risk event. One cheap set piece is basically a surprise earnings headline. Smart teams go capital preservation, kill the clock, avoid silly fouls, clear lines, and don't chase like a retail crowd into a pump. Norway's edge just firmed back up to 91%, but look at that ask depth ballooning. Someone's parking the bus with supply up near 0.97. That caps the upside short term, while draw and Iraq are still stuck behind those massive 0.99 walls.
Holland's not just scoring, he's hunting, pressing like a man possessed, dragging defenders into bad decisions, and the script writers are getting lazy tonight. Ayman Hussein answers for Iraq, but Holland's double has the stadium leaning his way. We've got a handball shout in the box, crowd roaring, ref waves it away and gives only a corner. Feels like a big controversy brewing. Any quick VAR market volatility analogy for the stream?
Absolutely, this is the market pricing a lawsuit rumor before the judge even looks at the tape. No VAR means uncertainty stays elevated, spreads widen, and the underdog tails get bid like a late corner that can flip the whole match.
We've got a handball shout in the box, crowd roaring, VAR vibes, but replay suggests it's leg, not arm. Feels like a market overreaction moment. Got a quick analogy for the viewers?
Yep, that's the classic headline algos move. Everyone hits buy on the rumor, then the replay is the earnings call that cools it down. You'll still see jittery pricing for a minute, but the trend usually snaps back once the tape clears. That VAR scare just got faded. Norway's back up near 0.88, 0.89, and the draw's cooled to a dime, so the market's basically saying no pen, play on. But there's still a chunky sell wall up at 0.97, so upside is like trying to score against a packed defense. Exactly. Classic whipsaw. The crowd trades the rumor, then the replay is the hard data that forces a quick unwind. Momentum snaps back, but nerves stay high, so you get choppy price action like a match after a controversial call.
We've got a handball shout that turns into a corner, crowd furious, VAR vibes. Ali Yassim swings it in. Almari pounces on the loose one and wants it back in a flash. No hesitation at all. And who else but Holland, the big blonde bouncer at the door, thumping it away. Oh, that was brewing. Al-Amari hangs it up and Hussein attacks it like a man possessed, thumping contact, but Surley leans in at the perfect moment and nudges the compass off true. That's the kind of defending that doesn't show up in highlight reels, but it saves you a match.
Exactly. When the star drops into defense, that's the circuit breaker kicking in before panic turns into a rout. It doesn't win you the match, but it buys time, resets positioning, and keeps the downside from snowballing.
They're trying to thread it through that crowded central lane, shoulder to shoulder, and you can feel the tension rising with every touch. One clean turn there, and it's panic stations for the back line. Right now, it's a wrestling match for control. Norway's backline is setting the tone. Risa barking orders, Berger tight to her mark, and there's just no oxygen in that space. You can see the attackers looking for a crack, but it's like trying to pick a lock in a hurricane. Holland, with a massive clearance under pressure, felt like a blue-chip stock stepping in to stop a market crash. Give us your quick risk management take on that kind of defensive intervention. IMO, Holland just bailed Norway out with a massive clearance. Talk to me, that kind of risk-off defending. Is it like a market snapping back to safe assets when pressure spikes?
Nailed it. That's a classic risk-off rotation. When heat rises, you dump the fancy buildup and park it in safe assets, aka a big clearance into row Z. It calms the crowd, but it also signals Norway's feeling the pressure.
Risa with the dancing boots on, quick little touches, almost wriggled through, and you felt the crowd lean forward, but Al Hamadi times it perfectly, takes the heat out of it, and Norway just about breathe again before the whistle.
Whoa, Norway just got repriced from a near lock to a coin flip plus, down at 0.865, 0.66, and that's pure momentum swing. Draw ripping 225.26 cents, says the market's smelling a stalemate, but bid depth is thin. One big order and this tape can gap it.
IMO, that Hashim Thunderbolt from a center back nearly levels it at the break. Talk about a blue chip strike out of nowhere. Give me your market style take on that kind of sudden momentum swing.
Absolutely. One unexpected rocket like that is a volatility shock, the kind that blows out spreads and forces everyone to reprice in real time. It's like a defensive stock suddenly dropping an earnings surprise. Confidence wobbles and the underdog trade gets crowded fast.
IMO, that Hashim Thunderbolt from a center back nearly levels it at the break. Talk about a blue chip strike out of nowhere. Give us your market shock take on moments like that, flipping momentum.
Spot on. Those out of nowhere hits are like a surprise CPI print. Everyone scrambles, probabilities gap, and the favorite suddenly looks fragile. Even if it doesn't score, it changes positioning. Norway gets cautious, Iraq trades with belief.
Holland stolen the headlines again. 2 goals, ice in the veins, and Norway edge it 2-1 at the break with Iraq hanging right in there. That Hashim Thunderbolt was a warning shot, and you just feel the next goal could flip this whole story. We've got Schmeichel and Messi on deck now. That's a heavyweight bill. Gloves versus genius. If the first half's anything to go by, keep your seatbelt on because this tournament's serving drama like it's on tap. Matchday treats future of football. Love it, but the present is already absolutely electric out there. If this is the future, it's arriving with a bang and a few defenders getting their ankles checked. Everyone wants to be the star, don't they? My dream team until the whistle blows and reality starts tackling back. IMO, that's like every investor claiming they saw the breakout coming after the chart's already gone vertical. They're all shouting, I'm gonna be iconic, it's my dream team. Reminds me of investors claiming they called the rally after it's already pumped. Give us your best market analogy for this ego fest.
Nailed it. This is pure FOMO with a victory lap, like traders tweeting called it after the stock's already up 30%. When everyone's chest thumping at the same time, that's usually late cycle sentiment and the pullback risk quietly rises.
IMO, this ad selling the future is now like a hot IPO, limited editions, global hype, scarcity everywhere. Give us the market read. Is this just sugar rush marketing or real brand equity compounding?
Yep, that's classic IPO roadshow energy. Manufactured scarcity to spike demand and print a higher opening price. Real brand equity is when it holds bid after the hype fades, like a club that keeps winning away from home.
A little extra, that's exactly what you need in the final third. One more yard, one more pass, one more heartbeat before it breaks open. If the attack gets a complimentary third, the defense is the one paying the bill. We're doing it. Stoppage time is where the heart starts sprinting even when the legs are begging for mercy. Not bad is what you say when you're trying not to grin. So come on then, you taking the shot or playing it safe?
Not much price movement, but the story's in the shape of the book. I'm with you. This feels like a late session squeeze that turns into a breakout if it holds above the prior highs into the close. If it fades fast, it's just a classic end of day head fake and the shorts reload tomorrow.
IMO, they're pitching platinum like stoppage time magic. Give us the market angle. Is this premium brand, nothing like it hype actually worth the fee or just glossy advertising?
Yeah, that's stoppage time winner marketing. Charge a premium for the feeling, not the fundamentals. If the product keeps renewals and pricing power after the launch buzz, it's real alpha. If not, it's just a shiny jersey.
IMO stoppage time vibes and Norway finally getting that breakthrough moment. Give me a quick market close analogy. Is this a late rally or a long-awaited breakout? Oof, that's a cliffhanger. They promise me you'll come back is pure stoppage time drama, the kind that makes the whole stadium hold its breath. And what do you believe? That's a penalty to the soul, mate. You either step up or you don't. That what do you believe line is a thunderbolt. Then Wayfair comes flying in with a two-footed tackle on the mood. Charles is down and he's not getting up. But fair play, certainty sells. No what if, just pick your sofa and slot it home.
Iraq ticking up 2-3% with a locked 0.03 tells you someone's nibbling the upset, but the ask side is still a brick wall. Tons of supply waiting. Norway remains the heavy favorite. This is more consolation shot on target than a momentum swing.
And there he is. Holland doesn't knock. He kicks the door in after half an hour and says, "Hello, world." Meanwhile, Alexi's talking hugs like it's a set-piece routine. Get your embrace in early, then go and bully the back line.
Draw just lifted a notch to 0.1 plus 0.11. Someone's paying up for the stalemate, but notice bid depth actually thinned, so it's not a full-on stampede. Norway still glued at 0.87.88, like a favorite seeing out the match without going for style point. Absolutely. Once a finisher like that heats up, defenses start panic selling structure and chasing the ball, and that's when the gaps widen. It's like a momentum stock. One headline move forces bad positioning, and the follow-through does the real damage. You're seeing the upset tape get thinner. Iraq bid depth slid while the price stays pinned at 0.03, so it's more lack of interest than fresh conviction. Norway still steady 8.70.88, like a team protecting a lead and letting the... Yep, VR overturn is a straight-up earnings restatement. The tape rips one way, then snaps back even harder. Vol spikes, confidence gets dented, and traders widen spreads because nobody trusts the next print.
France wrap it up 3-1, and Mbappe just keeps chiseling his name deeper into the record books. Ice in the veins, spotlight on his boots. Now all eyes swing to Argentina in Kansas City, and you can feel that stadium humming like a trading floor at the bell.
That drawbook just got yanked. Bid depth halved, and the top bid slipped down to 0.03, so the stalemate buyers basically left the stadium. Norway stays pinned 0.87, and with that massive ask overhead, it's a grind higher.
We just went from BMW lease rates to deep into Soviet time and a sudden oh no moment. Give me your take on that add to chaos whiplash like a market headline hitting mid-match.
Oh, that's pure headline risk. 1 second it's calm carry trade vibes, next it's a flash crash candle and everyone's scrambling for liquidity. It's the market equivalent of switching off VAR and letting the crowd set the price. Absolutely, this is a sharp correction after a fake breakout, and you can feel risk appetite shrink instantly. Teams stop pressing like growth traders and start protecting shape like value managers because nobody wants to be the next over-leveraged mistake. Draws getting a little bid back, top bid up to 0.09 and depth improved, but that 0.11 ask stack is still a brick wall, so upside is capped unless someone sweeps it. Norway remains steady, 0.87.88. This
VAR chaos here, goal overturned and everyone's losing their heads. Give me your trading floor take. How do teams keep composure when the decision swings like a volatile stock?
Totally. After a VAR swing, it's like a limit down halt. Emotions spike, but the smart teams go back to process and positioning. You slow the game, win the next duel, and rebuild confidence one green candle at a time. Exactly. Trade bust energy. You thought you booked the P&L, then compliance walks in and rewinds the tape. That kind of reversal tightens risk instantly, spreads widen, and everyone plays a bit more conservative until the next clean signal. Yeah, it's a volatility halt mid-breakout. Everyone's forced to stare at the tape and second-guess their conviction. Momentum doesn't die, but it resets. The leading side gets cautious, the underdog smells blood, and nerves start setting the price.
VAR's got the gloves on and everyone's shouting at the screen like it can hear them. What a moment of chaos, and now we've slammed straight into the ad break. Roll out, they say. Yeah, roll the decision out too, lads. We've gone from football fever to talk radio thunder, 2 hats, all heart, and 0 minutes of play. Something big is stirring, all right? The crowd's patience boiling like a kettle, waiting for kickoff to return. This broadcast is doing stepovers around the actual game. AT&T's got more airtime than the wingers. Challenging the status quo. Yeah, the status quo being, please, for the love of football, bring us back to the pitch.
Oh, this is a full-on exchange halt, no price discovery, just everyone refreshing their screens and pretending they're fine. When we come back, expect a gap move because the crowd's emotions have been compounding interest the whole break. Norway's still priced like the champ, but that top bid slipping 2.86 tells you buyers are backing off a step. Confidence, not panic, just less urgency. Meanwhile, the draws by 1-1 wall got lighter, so if momentum flips, that's the first door that could...
We've had a full-on ad trailer marathon instead of match action. Feels like a market halt with non-stop commercials. Got a quick take on airtime inflation and how fans' patience is like liquidity drying up?
Totally. This is airtime inflation. More ads per minute, less real gameplay, and the audience's patience is your bid depth evaporating. When liquidity thins, every little moment feels bigger, and the comeback to live action gaps emotions like a thinly traded stock.
We're stuck in a Fox Nation promo marathon. Can you riff on this like a market ad break rally and keep the viewers awake until kickoff?
Yeah, this is ad inventory clearing at premium CPMs. When the network floods promos, it's basically selling volatility in the attention economy. If viewers keep watching, demand's inelastic. If they bail, that's a sudden liquidity vacuum and the whole broadcast reprices fast. Not much has changed. Norway's still pinned 80.87, 0.88, but that's a crowded trade with a big ask wall, so upside is like trying to score against 10 men in the box. Draw ticked up in probability, yet the bid depth is thin, so any surprise headline could move it fast. I get the David versus Goliath angle, but this feels like a hard sell, more like a late cycle hype candle than real flow. In markets, underdogs only pay when the favorite's liquidity cracks. Right now, the favorite's still controlling possession. Yep, straight from commercials to kickoff is like a cash open. Spreads snap tight, emotions run hot, and the favorite takes the first punch of volatility. Argentina's the blue chip brand here, but early minutes trade like small caps. One sloppy touch.
Kansas City's buzzing and Argentina walk in like champions with a target on their backs. Every touch is going to get tested tonight. Algeria won't roll over either. They'll snap into tackles and try to turn this into a street fight. IMO, if Argentina's confidence is a stop... IMO, Clarence is basically saying Messi's a blue chip. Quiet early, then bang, decisive when it matters. Give me your market take. Is Argentina undervalued or priced to perfection with all this Mbappe-Haaland hype swirling?
Totally. Messi's the dividend aristocrat, low noise, high impact when the game tightens. Argentina feels priced to perfection right now, while the Mbappe-Haaland hype is the momentum trade that can rip or gap down on one bad touch.
Norway have absolutely nailed it, waited, pounced, and their talisman's delivered like he owns the pen. Oslo must be bouncing off the walls right now, and you can feel the belief flooding through the shirts. Second half coming, can they keep the fairy tale rolling?
That draw book just got weird, in a good way. Bid depth surged and the top bid moved up to 0.10, but someone's parked a crazy 0.99 ask like a nope sign. Norway's still the heavyweight AT086 0.87, yet with Norway sitting around 87%, this isn't value. It's a short-priced favorite where you're paying for certainty. Bonus bet talk is like a promo-fueled rally. It pulls in late money, but one shock moment and the downside feels like a red card. Yeah, promos are the bookie's version of a teaser rate. Great headline, but the risk doesn't disappear, it just gets repackaged. When the crowd chases free, they overbet the favorite and ignore the tail risk, and that's when upsets pay like a last-minute counterattack.
We've gone from dark horses to diesel horsepower in about 2 seconds flat only at the World Cup, eh? But hey, if Norway keep wearing the opposition down like that engine oil promises, they'll be running smooth deep into the second half.
Norway bid depth keeps thickening 0.86. Buyers are basically forming a defensive line there, but they're not getting paid much for the risk. Meanwhile, the draw stays sticky 8.011 with that growing wall, so the market's pricing ugly.
That's a full-on commercial counterattack. Freedom, crew, the whole lot charging down the wing. But on the football side, it's the same idea. Bring everyone, keep the shape, and when the moment opens up, you take it with no hesitation.
Yeah, that's classic late cycle marketing. When the message frequency spikes, it feels a bit overbought, like a stock getting pumped on headlines. But it's also smart hedging. Brands buy mind share when attention is liquid, then ride the replay value after the final whistle.
Now that's a switch of play. Jeep promos to a headmaster yelling grass stains and courage. I'm ready to lace up. IMO, that's the kind of rebrand the market loves. Take the classroom to the pitch and let the kids learn angles with a curling finish.
Norway's bid depth just slipped hard. from about 550k down to 476k, so that 0.86 support is thinning even if the price hasn't moved yet. Draw and Iraq are basically unchanged, which tells you the market's just de-risking the favorite, not...
IMO, we've got a Jeep summer event ad blitz. 0% financing or $4,500 bonus cash on 2026 Grand Cherokee. Then it pivots into a school pushing soccer and geometry on field 3. Give us the market spin on this crossover branding. IMO, we've got a wild ad break hat trick here. Jeep 0% financing, Bank of America backing U.S. soccer in schools, and a psoriasis drug spot. Give me the market angle. Who's winning this sponsorship battle?
Totally. This is a bidding war for attention, and the house usually wins. Leagues and broadcasters are the toll road, while brands are paying up to avoid getting benched in the consumer's mindshare game. Norway's still priced like the heavy favorite, but the story is liquidity. Bid depth rebounded to about 557k, while the ask stack ballooned past 1.5 m, so upside looks capped unless buyers step up. Iraq's bid even... Yep, it's an attention derby, and the winners are the gatekeepers, broadcasters, leagues, and platforms, because they're selling scarce minutes at premium rates. The brands are basically pressing high to win mindshare, but the cost...
IMO, these ads are wild. Jeep pushing 0% financing like a market rally, then pharma hits with risk disclaimers like a sudden sell-off. Give us your quick take on the 0% headline versus the fine print vibe.
Exactly. 0% is the breakout headline that gets the crowd rushing the pitch, but the fine print is the VAR check that slows the celebration. Markets do this too. Easy money vibes up front, then terms and conditions reprice the trade in real time.
IMO, these ad breaks are wild. Bank of America backing U.S. soccer, then pharma disclaimers pressing like a high line. From your angle, how big is that sponsorship money for growing the game in schools? IMO, Holland's on a hat trick watch already. This is like a blue chip stock gapping up at the open. Give me your market momentum take. Is this sustainable, or are we due a pullback?
I'm with you. That's pure momentum trade, and when the tape's this strong, you don't fade it early. But once everyone's leaning the same way, one missed chance is your quick profit-taking pullback, so volatility spikes fast.
Absolutely. When you've dragged yourself level, you've earned the right to breathe, and then you switch off for a heartbeat and bang, you're punished. Against a predator like Holland, that's like leaving your front door open in a storm. They've definitely got a bite. Iraq, those two up top are combining like they've got the same playlist on repeat, and it's causing Norway real headaches. Norway will always conjure chances, sure, but at the back they look a bit like a door on a loose hinge. One more. Iraq are still right in this. Those two forwards are knitting moves together beautifully, and Norway are wobbling every time the ball goes in behind. Holland's always a threat, but if Iraq keep poking that shaky backline, they'll fancy another big moment here.
Norway's price is stuck at 0.86, 0.87, but the key shift is the draw-ask wall swelling to 570k. Market's basically saying, if you want chaos, pay up. Iraq ticking to 0.03 is noise with that massive sell-side overhead. Totally, this is a momentum breakout where the crowd's chasing, and as long as the finishing stays clinical, the trend can run. But when everyone's offsides on the same trade, one cold spell triggers a sharp, fast pullback.
IMO, it's a superstar bonanza today. Mbappe brace, Holland brace, Messi still to come. Give us the market analogy. Who's the blue chip, who's the meme stock, and what does that do to the portfolio of a coach at halftime?
Yeah, Mbappe's the blue chip, reliable cash flows every match, while Holland's the momentum name that can rip on volume when the service is right. Messi's the legacy holding, maybe fewer trades, but one touch can reprice the whole book, so coaches hedge at halftime and tighten risks.
Solzbakken looks like the man with steam coming out of his ears, conceding like that is a coach's nightmare at the break. Arnold, on the other hand, will be pointing at the positives. We're creating, we're close, and that's a dangerous kind of belief.
Norway just slipped a tick to 0.85, SAR 0.86. Nothing dramatic, but it's the first sign of air coming out as sellers show up. Meanwhile, Iraq and draw are basically no bid stories with those 0.99 ask cliffs, so the real action is still in the favorite.
That's the pressing trap, isn't it? Invite the fullback to take the bait, and then snap, the net closes. Norway trying to be cute at the back, but every time that trigger goes, it's like someone's hit the panic button in the stadium. Exactly. Let the ball drift to the fullback, and then they pounce like it's feeding time. Norway keep insisting on playing out, but those turnovers are stacking up, and you just know one of them is going to gift a golden chance. No doubt that press is pure training ground muscle memory. One signal and the whole pack hunts together. It's forcing rushed decisions, and you can feel Norway's backline starting to second-guess every safe pass.
Norway's still the story, 80.850.86, but that ask depth ballooning to 709k is a real supply overhang. Rallies are going to get sold into. Iraq ticking to 4% is just a tiny sentiment wobble, like a counterattack that looks scary until you see it has no finish.
Flags up and Iraq are fuming, but you can see the idea. Norway squeezing the ball side so hard they're begging you to switch it. That run was a whisker early, yet the space on the far side is screaming for a quick diagonal and a cutback. Norway are so lopsided defensively, it's like they've put a vacant sign on the far touchline, and Holland's sniffing around those records. He's a walking headline. Rierson keeps it alive here, and you can feel the crowd holding its breath.
Totally. This is the market equivalent of headline whiplash. Every whistle is a mini circuit breaker that kills trend and widens spreads. In chop like this, the crowd overreacts to each tick, and momentum traders get stopped out like it's their day job.
Oh, that's well out. Clear as day. And the little buzz on the watch comes a beat late, like the tech needed a coffee. No time for complaints, though. Alamari gets it moving, and Sam saying play on with real urgency now.
Draw's price hasn't moved, but the ask wall just thinned a lot, 650k down to 492k, so the insurance trade is getting easier to lift if nerves spike. Norway's still glued at 0.85, 0.86, and until that 0.97...
Ahmed Hussein clatters in there, no doubt that's a foul, and it breaks the rhythm just as Norway were trying to build. You can see the halftime tweak too. They're dropping a touch deeper to lure the press and spring the next pass. Ahmed Hussein's gone through him, easy whistle, and Norway will be happy to slow it down for a breath. That halftime adjustment is showing. They're sitting a bit deeper in the build-up, trying to tempt pressure and then punch through it. Ahmed Hussein leaves a little stamp on that one. Free kick all day, and it kills the tempo. Norway's halftime tweak is obvious. They're starting deeper in possession, trying to drag Iraq out and open a lane through the middle. Sandeberger's just strolling into that quarterback zone. Center backs loving life on the ball, and the forwards are hesitating. Do you press or do you protect the space? Bison Hussein shuffle across, and Ali's reading it, sliding over to snuff out the danger before it sparks.
Big whipsaw and liquidity. Draw and Iraq ask walls just reloaded hard, so someone's putting the barricades back up and saying not so fast to the upset narrative. Norway's bid depth also surged, which feels like the favorite supporters stepping back in to control.
Ali sticks tight with him, and Kellis takes the pass from Hashim. Nice and tidy, but you can feel the crowd waiting for a spark. And hey, scan that QR code and get your vote in. Who's your standout so far, Amo? Any blue chip performer on the pitch? They're pushing the QR vote for player of the match. Who's your blue chip performer so far and why? Give us a quick market style take.
I'm going blue chip Norway here. The tape says it all with that 86% implied, and the big money's still leaning their way, even after some profit taking. It's like a quality stock. Not flashy every minute, but it keeps absorbing pressure and holding the line. We're back to walls up mode. Draw and Iraq still have chunky ask depth, so the upset trades are being capped like a keeper catching crosses all day. Norway's price stays steady, 80.85, 0.86, but that's 0.9.
They're pushing a QR code vote for player of the match. Give us your blue chip pick so far and why. Quick and punchy.
Fair shout. My blue chip is Norway's backline. Low volatility keeps the clean sheet thesis intact, and the market's still pricing them like the favorite 80, 0.85, 0.86. It's the defensive midfielder of this tape. Quiet, but
Imo, they're pushing this player of the match vote hard. Who's your blue chip pick so far, and does Norway's second half momentum feel like a market rally waiting to happen?
Yeah, Leo, blue chip for me is Norway's engine room. Steady touches, no panic, keeps the 0.85 handle defended. And that second half push does feel like a coiled spring rally. If they get one clean chance, the price can gap before anyone hits refresh.
That hit right on the whistle was pure thunder, and it's a warning siren for Iraq. Norway smell blood when you think you're safe on the ball. You can't all admire your own buildup. One lazy glance and they'll nick it and fly at you like a counterpunch. That first half strike was a rocket, and now Norway are sitting deeper. Hunting turnovers feels like a classic value trap when Iraq have the ball. Got a quick market analogy for a team most vulnerable in possession?
Totally, when Iraq have the ball, it's like a thinly traded small cap getting marked up on headlines. Then one bad tick and liquidity vanishes. Norway sitting deep is the market maker waiting for a sloppy print to slam the spread and cash the turnover.
Norway are flirting with danger in their own half, giving it away like loose change, and Iraq are smelling it, pressing higher, squeezing the life out of the buildup. But here's the trap. Push too many bodies up and Norway will spring the counter like a mousetrap. Ismail tries to flip the play and suddenly Doski's bursting forward. There's a real spark in Iraq's movement here. One man down in pain, but they keep it alive. And now the delivery's coming. Hussein sniffing around the danger zone again. Hold your breath. Ismail swings it across and Doski's run gives Iraq a real angle. Still alive, still probing. One player's down and grimacing, but the cross is coming anyway, floated with intent. And Hussein's popping up again like he's got a magnet for the ball. Hussein just can't help himself, sniffing goal like a bloodhound, trying to feather it to that far stick, and he's getting across his marker again and again, and that Doski surge from left back, wow, Norway are backing off like a stock dipping fast. Oh, that was silk, one of those little touches that makes the crowd purr like he's dancing through traffic. If they keep producing that kind of quality in tight spaces, Norway are going to be chasing shadows all night.
Now that's a real shift. Norway ticks up to skate EY 8-7 and the ask side actually lightens. Less supply, easier to squeeze higher if the game stays calm. But look at the draw book. Bid depth just collapsed. That's the crowd abandoning the late equalizer script fast.
They're finding pockets, no doubt. Just that final touch needs a bit more polish because the openings are there for the taking. And credit to Gray, he's only really been tested once properly, but he's looked sharp, calm, like he's got the gloves glued on.
Norway's win line is getting cleaner. Bid depth rebounds to 165k while asks shrink to 204k, so the path of least resistance is still up. But that goofy 0.99 top ask is a classic I'll sell it if pigs fly order. Real actions around 0.8.
Marner's at it again, gliding past people like he's on ice skates. That's delicious football. Norwegian Neymar is a big label, but with feet that quick and a swagger like that, you can see why the scouts keep scribbling. Imo, Noosa's stock is soaring. Leipzig asset on a set piece here. Norway crowd roaring. Give us the market angle. What happens to a player's value when he shines on the World Cup stage?
Absolutely. This is the IPO roadshow moment. One big set piece and suddenly the market reprices the story faster than the fundamentals. But like any hot debut, the spread widens. Next touch matters because hype can retrace as quickly as it rips.
Imo, Noosa's stock is soaring. If he shines at this World Cup, Leipzig might be naming their price. Give us the market angle. How fast does a breakout tournament translate into a mega fee?
You're spot on. Breakout tournaments reprice instantly, like a limit-up move on thin liquidity. The mega fee usually lands in the next transfer window when bidders line up and the selling club controls the clock, not the hype.
Imo, Norway's pushing that high line and living dangerously. Feels like a leveraged position. Big upside if the press hits, but one slip and it's a nasty drawdown. What's your take on risk management when the crowd's roaring like this?
Exactly. When the stadium
Play stops and you can feel the stadium hold its breath. Nobody wants to see a lad down. Iraq shuffle the pack with a couple of changes, and here comes Foggy, fresh legs from Venice, looking to bring a little Italian calm to the chaos. Oh, it's scrappy and tense now. Second ball's flying, tempers just starting to simmer, and Norway refusing to let it breathe. And there he is again, the big man sniffing it out, but it won't quite fall for him, not yet. Noosa's World Cup buzz is spiking. Feels like a stock breaking out. If he keeps standing out, Leipzig might be cashing in fast. What's your take on tournament-driven transfer? Yeah, that's the worst. Two knocks in the same spot, and suddenly every step feels like a hammer blow. Looks like the bench is rolling the dice with a double change, trying to flip the momentum while the physios earn their wages. It's like deja vu in midfield. Same pattern, same pressure, Norway squeezing and Leipzig just hacking it clear. And Holland's prowling again, shoulders set, but the final touch deserts him and the chance evaporates. Imo,
Yeah, that's the classic academy to minutes pipeline. United's brand sets the initial valuation, but Utrecht is where the earnings show up with real playing time. If he pops here, the ROI jumps fast because buyers pay for proof, not pedigree.
They're trying to sell a little chaos here, resetting like chess piece.
Yep, that's fresh liquidity hitting the pitch. Iqbal brings a different tempo, and the market usually reprices fast when a new creator shows up. But the injury sub is the hidden cost, like paying a spread to enter late. Iraq needs instant impact.
IMO, Iraq bringing on Zidane Iqbal, Man United Academy to Utrecht. There it is, two fresh legs. Yep, Al Hamadi makes way and Iraq hit the reset button with that double swap. Fresh energy, fresh ideas, and suddenly the tempo can spike. Now watch the next 5 minutes. This is where substitutions either spark a surge or vanish into the noise. Double change for Iraq, Ali Yassin being checked after a painful knock, and Zidane Iqbal, ex-Man United Academy, now Utrecht, coming on as Zayed Ismail heads off. Any quick take on the new money impact off the bench?
Norway's win price just leaked from 0.88 to 0.85. Nothing.
And here come the changes. Substitutions on the way, and you can feel the game holding its breath. This is where momentum gets bought and sold. Fresh legs, fresh instructions, and suddenly the next duel could swing the whole mood in the stadium.
We're basically flat now. Norway holding 0.85, 0.86. But look at that draw-ask depth ballooning. There's a ton of insurance being offered if the game stays cagey. Feels like a team protecting a 1-0 lead. Still favored, but the crowd's bracing for late chaos.
IMO, Iraq's making a double change. Fresh legs like a mid-game portfolio rebalance. Give us a quick market style take. Does this kind of switch usually stabilize or spike volatility in a match?
Totally. Double subs usually spike volatility first because you're changing correlations on the fly and nobody's priced the new shape yet. If it clicks, it stabilizes fast. If it's disjointed, you get that whipsaw like a sloppy counterattack. Norway's still pinned 8-8-5 but the tell is liquidity thinning a bit on both sides. Less conviction, more wait and see. That's when one big chance can gap the price like a fast break catching defenders flat-footed.
Ali Yassin nudging up as that second striker sniffing around the front line. That's where he can be a real nuisance, picking up scraps and turning them into danger. And you're right, Faggy not starting raised eyebrows, but now he's on. And suddenly Iraq look like they've got.
Now that's a liquidity air pocket. Norway bid depth collapsed from 6 figures to about 25k, and draw depth got chopped in half too. Market makers just pulled the ladders. When the book looks this thin, one decent-sized order can move prices like a deflected.
Rierson whips it in and Hashim gets something on it, but it drops invitingly. Bayesh is there and suddenly it's panic stations. Heyman's arriving like a train, and if that next touch is clean, the net could bulge. That loose ball fell perfectly for Bayesh after the cross, momentum swing stuff. Give me a quick market style take. How one lucky bounce can flip the whole price of a team in a match.
Absolutely. One lucky bounce is a surprise earnings beat. The fundamentals didn't change much, but positioning does, and everyone scrambles to reprice instantly. In a thin book like this, that single moment can gap the odds before the next whistle.
Norway are crying out for that third just to put a lock on the door because Iraq have shown they can kick it down at any moment. One loose pass, one quick transition, and suddenly it's sirens in the Norwegian box. And that's the warning sign. When a team's already produced a stunner, they start believing every shot has a story. Norway can't switch off for a second here because Iraq are playing with that dangerous sparkle in their eyes.
Norway's still priced like the clear favorite, 8-0 and 8-5, 0.86, but that bid depth cooled from the spike. Some buyers stepped back after the push. The tell is that ask stack tightened too, so it's more a reset than a reversal, like a team taking a breather after a...
IMO doubles for Mbappe and Haaland. Superstar dividends paying out today. Messi and then Ronaldo tomorrow on deck. Give us the market take. Who's the blue chip? Who's the high volatility pick?
Yeah, that's superstar cash flow hitting the tape. Mbappe feels like the blue chip growth name with consistency, while Haaland's the high beta striker who can gap the market on any touch. Messi and Ronaldo are the legacy value plays, still capable of a...
What a day of headline hunters. Mbappe and Haaland both bagging doubles. That's like the market closing green across the board. And with Messi still to come, then Ronaldo tomorrow, the goal charts are moving like blue chip stocks, IMO. Iraq are knocking again. Hussein Ali gets that chance and just lifts it onto the roof. Oof, that's a let-off for Norway. But you can feel the pressure building like a kettle about to whistle, and Norway need to calm this down fast.
Norway's price is steady, 8-0, 8-5, 0.86, but the real story is the liquidity surge. Bid depth back up near 233k, so buyers are defending the favorite. Meanwhile, draw and Iraq are basically for sale with those monster ask stacks, like the crowd only...
That delivery into the area is pure temptation, and Al-Amiri's movement screams intent. This Iraq side are hunting. Hussein Ali drifting wide right, keeping it honest, and every touch feels forward like they've got a compass pointed straight at goal. Alexander Sorloth, 20 goals, Atleti's battering ram, and you can see why defenders backpedal like they've seen a tax bill. And the family story always adds a little spice, doesn't it? Football genes, pressure genes, all of it.
Big momentum swing. Norway price slips to 0.83 Simor 84 and bid depth collapses 23k from Matra 197k, while draw pops to 0.14015 with higher implied odds. Feels like the favorite just picked up a yellow card. Crowd suddenly pricing in.
Absolutely. Imo, that's the market smelling danger, the kind of wobble you... Norway reacting fast, double change. That's a manager feeling the heat and trying to slam the door before it swings off the hinges. Fresh legs, fresh instructions, and suddenly the tempo could flip in a heartbeat. Ali Yassine gets there and you can feel the pulse rise. This lot are not fading, they're growing in. Norway going with the double switch again. This is a proper chess move, trying to match Iraq's energy and stop that momentum bleeding. You can sense the bench shouting, control the middle, because one loose minute here and it... Sorbakan's rolling the dice now. When the coach moves, it's a message to everyone on that pitch. Wake up, we're not here to admire the scenery. Let's see if the new legs bring bite or just more noise.
Norway's cooled a touch to 74.85, but the bid depth snapping back to 183k tells you the dip buyers are still in control. Draw and Iraq remain a graveyard of offers. Tons of supply, not much conviction. So the path of least resistance stays with the... Norway's back to Dov 0186 and the ask depth has collapsed to 288k, so the sellers are stepping off the pitch and that usually lets the favorite drift higher. Draw liquidity just evaporated on the bid side, which screams, no one wants to stand in front of this train.
Molavta driving, Nusa buzzing around him. Norway are turning the screw down that left flank. Another corner coming, and you can feel the pressure stacking like waves. One good delivery, and it's chaos in the 6-yard box. Molavta's got the afterburners on Nusa, offering that little give and go, and Norway win yet another corner. This is relentless. Everything's funneling down the left like a motorway, and Iraq are hanging on by their fingertips.
Norway's holding firm at 0.8500.86, and the sell wall keeps shrinking. Ask depth down near 281k, so it's a steady grind higher if buyers keep pressing. The draw book looks flimsy on bids, like a midfield with no legs, so any momentum swing likely shows up in Norway.
Nusa's eyes are glued to Molavta a bit too early there, telegraphed it, and the chance to whip it in just slips away, but that partnership on the left is purring. Every overlap feels like it's one touch from real danger.
Norway just ticked up to 86, euros 0.87, and now the book's basically balanced. Bid depth, Isha 183k versus Ask Y 187k, so one decent buy can punch through like a late set piece. Meanwhile, draw bids are drying up fast, so the market's leaning even...
Delivery towards Nusa, he's hovering like a thief at the back post, and now Bryson steps up to take it. Big moment, one clean whip, and Norway can turn all this pressure into something that actually hurts. Holland sniffing a hat trick and Norway piling on from corners. Feels like momentum compounding like a hot stock. Give us your take on how pressure like this forces errors like markets under stress.
Absolutely. Sustained pressure is like a volatility squeeze. Defenders start clearing blindly, and one bad touch becomes the forced liquidation that gifts a goal. When Norway camps in the box, the error rate spikes, and the favorite price grinds higher like a...
And they've just about hacked it away. Scrappy, ugly, but effective. Norway will be fuming. They didn't make that corner count, but the pressure's still simmering. You can feel another wave coming.
Norway's still stuck at 0.85 or 86, and that 0.87 sell wall actually thickened to about 517k shares. Someone's leaning on the price hard. Bid depth softened a bit too, so near term it's more protect the lead than go for the kill.
Solak slips it out to Dowski, and now there's a little pocket of space opening up. Can they finally breathe? One good touch here, and it's a chance to flip the script and run at Norway. Hashim Ali's trying to spark it, but Ayer and Ryerson read it like a headline and shut the door. No freebies there. Solak's the one setting off the alarm, though, drifting in, and suddenly he's everywhere. Those runs are starting to bite.
Norway's price is still glued at 0.85, but the story is that 0.87 wall, now foul 518k shares, plus total ask depth jumping to 701k, so sellers are stacking the box. Draw ticked up to 13% with thicker bids, a little...
Oh no, a man down on that left. Hashim Ali looks in real discomfort, and that's a nasty moment for the tempo. Cooling break comes at the right time, but you can see the worry on faces. This could change the whole shape when we restart. We've got Hashim Ali down and a cooling break. Momentum stalls and it could force a reshuffle. Any quick take on how teams manage risk here, like hedging when a key asset looks injured?
Yep, that's the market's risk-off moment. When a key piece looks compromised, you see managers de-risk, slow the tempo, and protect the downside. It's like trimming a winner and buying a little insurance until you know if the star can stay on the pitch.
He's still feeling that earlier hit from Nusar, hand straight to the shoulder. That's a bad sign. And now the signal's clear. He's coming off, and you hate to see it in a game that's just starting to heat up. Imo, we've got an injury sub after a heavy challenge, momentum swing, and a key player forced off. Give us your market reaction take. Who benefits? Who's suddenly undervalued on the pitch?
That's a volatility spike. Money rotates fast from sure thing to what breaks next. And you often see the underdog's draw chaos angle get temporarily undervalued. The team with deeper bench benefits like a diversified portfolio, the thin squad.
Cooling break with Hashim Ali forced off after that awkward fall. Momentum swing. Big hitters already scoring, Holland mentioned. Give us your blue chip striker take and how subs can shift the market of the match. We've got a key player forced off after a heavy challenge, momentum swing, and a tactical reshuffle. Any quick market reaction take on how teams hedge risk when a star goes down mid-game?
Totally. When the star goes down, it's like your biggest holding gap's lower, so the team hedges by tightening shape and simplifying decisions to protect the clean sheet. The other side smells blood and presses like momentum traders chasing a breakout. That draw market just got a lot more tradable. Ass depth collapses and the best ass drops to 0.13, so sellers are finally coming down from the 0.99 fantasy land. Meanwhile, Norway's bid depth more than doubles and we've got real...
We're into that final quarter now, and you can feel the tension crackling. One moment can flip the whole script, and that ad line about Messi and Duracell is cheeky. But right now, the players need that power boost more than the sponsors do. Final quarter on the horizon, and the noise is rising. This is where legs go heavy and minds have to stay sharp. And that Messi Duracell shout is a fun one, but on this pitch, it's the next sprint, the next tackle that decides everything. Here we go, last quarter looming. This is the stretch where heroes pop up and tired lungs start bargaining for mercy. And that Messi Duracell line, if anyone's got a power boost right now, they better...
Exactly. Multiple subs at once is a sector rotation candle. Correlations break, roles reset, and the market reprices the system more than any one player. If the new shape clicks, momentum snaps fast. If not, you get chop and whipsaws.
Imo, they're name-dropping Messi and Duracell like a blue-chip endorsement. Give us the market angle. Does that kind of star power actually move the needle for a brand in real time?
Yeah, 4 changes is a late-game rebalance. Norway's basically locking in gains and managing fatigue risk like trimming winners into cash. The favorite benefits if it preserves structure, but the nailed it. 6 subs is a mid-crash rebalance. You cut fatigue beta, but you spike execution risk because chemistry resets instantly. Momentum can swing hard either way, and the underdog usually gets the first vol pop off fresh legs. We're seeing a tiny wobble in the favorite. Norway's implied slips to 86% and bid depth eases, but that 0.85 wall is still doing the heavy lifting. Draw tightens back to 1.12, so the market's basically saying low drama, but keep...
Cooling break with a flurry of subs. Norway making 4 changes at once, Iraq shuffling 2. Feels like a portfolio rebalance mid-volatility. Changes locked in and you can feel the ripple already. Key men off, but the quality on that bench is still sparkling. This is where the match can turn on one touch, one run, one little moment of madness. Mustafa steps in and you can almost hear the gears shifting. New energy, new angles, new problems for the defenders. Hussein Ali's done his shift. Now it's Mustafa's turn to grab this game by the collar. Yes, 6 changes, fresh legs everywhere, and suddenly the tempo can flip like a market on breaking news. And sleep, not a chance, my friend. When the bench is empty like this, you stay wide awake for the chaos. He says legendary moments start with a light. Tie it to markets, catalysts, ignition, momentum. Give a Ahmed Kazim on, and that's a statement. Fresh legs with a point to prove, straight into the heat of it. Yep, Ahmed Kazim's the new spark in that role. Fresh.
Yeah, it's both depending on the scoreline. If you're ahead, it's a hedge. Fresh legs to lower drawdown and kill the clock. If you're chasing, it's a growth tilt. Higher upside, but you're widening the error bars and inviting a counter. Absolutely. One headline is the match, but positioning is the gasoline. When the crowd's leaning the same way, that spark turns into a momentum run, and suddenly everyone's chasing like it's stoppage time.
IMO, changes galore. New faces flying in like late market volatility. Give us a quick take. Do these subs feel like a hedge to protect a lead or a bold growth play to chase the winner?
This book is screaming Norway in control, but it's crowded. 86% implied with chunky bids means everyone's already on the same side of the trade. The real tell is that massive ask depth on draw and Iraq. Market makers are basically parking the bus, so any late... Norway's still priced like the heavy favorite, but notice the bid depth just jumped hard. Buyers are stepping in to defend that 0.86, 0.87 line. Meanwhile, draw Iraq are basically all air on the bid and a wall of offers.
Osgood's on from Genoa, and that's a proper injection of European steel. Changes everywhere, the rhythm's wobbling. Norway can feel it too, can't they? This is the dangerous phase where you either manage the chaos or it manages you.
Draw just ticked up.
Oscar Bob is up and running, and that's a little warning flare for Iraq. This kid can change a match in 2 touches. Ryerson hovering nearby too, Norway turning the screw like they've just spotted a crack in the wall. IMO group tables getting tight, France and Norway on 3, Senegal lurking. Give us that market style take. Who's the blue chip to qualify and who's the volatile pick after this goal swing?
Yeah, that's a classic table squeeze. France is the blue chip, deepest liquidity, most ways to win, and the market trusts them to close. Norway's the momentum name, but more headline sensitive, while Senegal's the high beta flyer that can gap on one good break.
Holland's done what Holland does. 2 ruthless strikes with that thunderbolt header from Ayman Hussein wedged right between them. What a contest. If it stays like this, France and Norway are sitting pretty on 3, but Senegal are lurking like a shark in shallow water. Iraq have been brave, no doubt, but Norway are starting to smell blood here. Oostegård's trying to clip that pass into Bob. Bob gets a little glimpse, and you can feel the crowd hold its breath for a second.
Now you're seeing the long shot markets dry up fast. Draw bid depth is... Absolutely, that's a classic catalyst sub, like a surprise earnings beat that forces shorts to cover and everyone reprices the bracket. If Norway sustains this tempo, the group math tightens fast, and the safe qualifiers start trading with a lot more volatility. Norway just got marked up to 89% and the spread moved higher, so the market's basically pricing game over unless something weird happens. But that ballooning Norway ask depth says sellers are lining up to take profit.
Oosthuizen off the bench, and Oosthuizen arrives like a late train that somehow still beats everyone to the platform. Right place, right time. That's the substitute's dream, and Norway have just found a new spark. Iraq's back line is wobbling under the pressure. Oscar Bob, Holland's old city mate, picking it up, and you can almost see the gears turning. He's sniffing out that lane like a taxi driver spotting an empty street. If he finds Holland's run, Iraq could be in real trouble here. Hashim throws himself in the way. Brilliant block, that's pure survival defending. And there you go, 2 subs linking up. Trossfeeder lets it fly. You love that little World Cup bloodline too. Eric in 94, and now the son trying to write his own chapter.
Market steady here. Norway still pinned 0.88.89, but that heavy ask stack is basically a take profit line waiting to get hit. Draw and Iraq are thin and one-sided, so any shot goal would reprice violently because there's just no depth to catch it. That's the kind of headline risk that widens spreads instantly. If VAR flips it, Norway's price... Yep, this is pure event risk. Prices can look broken out for a minute, but VAR is the circuit breaker hovering over the tape. If it's upheld, Norway's momentum traders pile in. If not, it's an air pocket drop.
Tottenham pedigree, and he's still hanging out on the far side, totally unbothered, just waiting for that one delivery. It's that calm menace, isn't it? Defenders think they've got a breather, then suddenly he's the headline act. Controversy here.
Totally. A goal like that is a breakout candle, and Iraq's protest is the volatility spike that can wreck discipline. Subs are your late catalysts. Fresh legs raise... Exactly. VR's the regulator with the power to halt trading and restate the earnings, and that's why you'll see spreads get jumpy right now. If it's upheld, Norway's in control, and Iraq's frustration becomes the real downside risk.
IMO, Iraq are furious, claiming a foul in the build-up, but the goal stands for now. Give us your market reaction take. Is this a...
Spot on. This is... Yeah, that's a shock headline that turns into a trend if the officials don't walk it back. Suddenly everyone reprices the whole match. Iraq's biggest risk now is tilt and overpressing, like chasing a falling stock and getting punished on the counter.
We've got a controversial Norway goal, huge header after a corner, Iraq screaming for a foul on Holland, but it stands. Give us your market reaction take, momentum swing, pressure on Iraq, and how subs are like late-stage catalysts. IMO, Norway's just nicked breathing space with a towering header, classic set-piece swing, and Iraq are fuming about a possible foul in the build-up. From your angle, that's like a late market rally after a dodgy catalyst. Do you see VAR as... IMO, Iraq are fuming about a possible foul in the build-up, but Norway's just powered in a third from a corner. Classic set-piece swing. Any quick take on how momentum shifts after a controversial goal, like a market reacting to a shock headline?
This book is basically calling full-time. Norway's pinned at 98.99 cents with real depth, while Iraq and the draw are ghost towns on the bid and a wall of asks. Nobody believes in the comeback. It's like a team up 3-0 in stoppage time. You can still
3-1 Norway, and you can feel the air rush out of Iraq's sails. Set pieces are brutal. They don't ask questions, they just punish you. Fresh legs off the bench, a moment's hesitation on the marking, and bang, Norway's got daylight. Now Iraq need a spark.
Now it's even more one-way. Iraq has literally no bid, and Norway's ask liquidity at 99 cents has thinned hard. Classic no sellers left squeeze into the close. This is the market equivalent of stoppage time, with the keeper holding the ball.
Holland's got that defender hanging off him like a winter coat, and still he's the one getting whistled. Come on, that's pure power football, and you can see the frustration bubbling as Norway try to turn it into one more surge forward. Holland's strength is drawing fouls, but refs are calling it against him. Feels like a market. Norway sitting pretty now, matching that earlier statement scoreline. This is control with a capital C. Odegaard trudges off, and you can tell it's not his highlight reel today, but Berg brings that Bodo Glimt grit, a bit of steel to lock the door.
Norway's basically at parity now, 99 bid and 99 ask, with the sell side almost gone, just 8 grand of offers left, so it's buyers only into the final whistle. Draw and Iraq are pure dead money, tiny bids, skyscraper asks, no real belief. Norway's still glued to 99, and the offer stack is basically a puddle, 6 grand of asks, so any late buyer can walk it to the whistle. The draw tightening 2-1-1 is just noise with that giant 99-cent sell wall looming like a parked bus in the box.
And the USA are absolutely flying out of the blocks. Host nation energy, the crowd's a 12th man, and then some. Australia weren't timid early on, but once the tempo cranks up, it's like trying to hold back a tide with a teacup. Friday's got a blockbuster feel to it. Circle it, underline it, set 3 alarms. If this match is anything to go by, that kickoff's going to arrive with fireworks already lit, and Fox will be loving every second of it.
Big change. Norway's offer side just refilled. Ask depth jumps back near 100K, and the top offer's now sitting at 100. So sellers are finally showing up to take the trophy photo. That caps the upside and screams, late longs don't get cute, as the market...
Friday can't come soon enough. 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, and you just know the tension will be bubbling before... Oh, he's clean through, and you can feel the net about to ripple. Then Hassan throws up the brick wall. That's a massive block, keeps the door ajar, 8-3-1, and suddenly the crowd's got oxygen again.
Norway's still pinned at 99, but that sell wall, 81 euro, is getting thicker, now 45K shares. So the market's basically saying, win is priced, upside is capped. Feels like a team up 3-0 just passing it around. Safe, but don't...
IMO, Chicago Fire sniffing around Berg last year. Give us the market angle. What does that kind of MLS interest say about his valuation and the buy low, sell high timing for clubs like Bodo Glimt? Yeah, you want your captain grabbing the match by the collar, not drifting around the edges like a spare man at training. If he finds that first sharp touch early next time, Norway's whole tempo lifts, otherwise the spotlight gets hot fast.
Now we've got a real spread on Norway, 99 bid, 1 ask, so the market's basically pricing win is certain, but you're paying a premium for the last penny. Bid depth also slipped while offers are still chunky, so this is late game time wasting, not a breakout run.
Absolutely, that U.S. performance had swagger, keeping it moving, it making the pitch feel small for the opponent. And the best bit? Lose it and they hunt in packs like a switch flips and it's chaos for the other side. U.S. team's form looks like a hot stock. Possession, pressing, instant counter press, any quick market style take on momentum and confidence carrying into the next game?
Totally. When a team's counterpress is clicking, that's like a stock above its moving averages. Dips get bought fast and confidence becomes its own liquidity. Just watch for overbought legs. If the press fades, momentum can flip in one bad turnover.
That's the sign of a team growing up, possession with purpose, and when it breaks down, they snap back into shape like a well-drilled unit. And for the main man, that's priceless. The nation's weight is real, but he played like it was just another Tuesday night under the lights. Norway lining up a free kick, chasing a fourth. Holland on the prowl. Give us a quick pressure versus performance angle. How do stars handle national expectation like market sentiment swings? Free kick swings in, and Norway are sniffing that fourth like sharks in the water. Holland wants the match ball. You can see it in his eyes. It glances off Odegaard's head, but it just won't dip in time, and the keeper breathes again. Oh, he could taste it there. One more touch, and the stadium's writing the headlines for him. Holland's prowling like a striker possessed, and Norway keep feeding the dream, but that final moment just won't fall his way. He stayed alive in the moment, hasn't he? Rides the contact, keeps his balance, and suddenly the move has teeth. Lovely little flash of skill to open the door, and that volley attempt just a whisker away from turning this place upside down.
Norway's still pinned at 99-100, but notice the ask depth creeping up. More sellers showing up to cash out that last cent. That's classic everyone knows the result pricing, where the only real risk is a freak headline and the spread is your tax. Nailed it. Missing that sitter is like a stock failing to break a big round number level. You get a quick wobble, but the trend doesn't die if the fundamentals are still dominating. As long as Norway keep generating chances, buyers stay in control, and the tape.
That's the double-edged sword, isn't it? Norway's hype is roaring louder than the crowd, and now they've got to live inside it. Even if Odegaard's not firing, you've got Holland waiting like a thunderbolt, and suddenly every chance feels fatal. You can see the big club habits, standards through the roof. Even the simple pass has to be laser guided. Holland's scowling like he's missed a sitter, and that mentality is gold when the fixtures look easy on paper, but can still trip you up. France-Norway shaping up like a blockbuster, and now a yellow's coming out. Talk about risk management. Give us your take on how pressure and discipline swing momentum like market sentiment.
Yep, that yellow card is like a margin call warning. Suddenly, everyone prices in the risk of a second mistake. Under pressure, discipline is liquidity. Keep your shape and you control the tempo. Lose it, and sentiment flips on one bad tackle.
Philly, Toronto, New Jersey, Boston. This tournament's a traveling circus, and Norway-France could be box office. Also, Zayed finally seeing yellow. Talk to me about discipline risk like a stock with too much volatility.
Totally. When the tour hits big markets, the crowd gets louder and the price action gets jumpier, just like a hot IPO roadshow. Zayed on a yellow is that high beta stock. One more reckless move and you're halted, so Norway has to play cleaner, not harder.
Chessini and Holland together, that's a nightmare cocktail for center backs. Power like a bulldozer, feet like a winger, and he's turning defenders inside out. Iraq will take some heart from spells of it, but those goals conceded, you can't.
Norway's still a clean one-ard, but the bid depth has slipped. Less appetite to add at the top when everyone already knows the result. Iraq's book is basically a penny stock graveyard. No bids, huge offers, and zero belief. Nothing's really trading here. Norway's glued to 100, and the only movement is tiny liquidity shifts around the edges. The draw and Iraq books are just stacked sell walls, like a team down big wasting time in the corner. This is a settled match in market form. That draw just lost its last real bid. Now it's basically a 0.0001 market, which screams no one wants this risk even at a penny. Norway stays welded to 100, and the rest is just a mountain of sellers waiting to be proven right. Feels like stoppage time. Everyone's protected.
Norway are sniffing blood here, and you can see the tempo rising. This feels like one more chance and it's curtains. And Holland, he's never done. He's a goal with boots on, just waiting for the next delivery.
Draw probability just got marked to 0, and the spread tells you why. 0.0 bid 0.01 ask. Basically no one willing to pay up for a miracle. Norway still pinned at 1-0 with buyers stacked, like a team killing the clock with possession. Only real risk.
In this tournament, he's been inevitable, and you can feel the crowd holding its breath. Will it be now? Ryerson darts in with real intent, and that's the kind of run that turns a quiet moment into absolute chaos in the box.
Now the draw is literally quoted at 0 on both sides with bid depth collapsing. This is the market waving the white flag. Norway's still a locked 1 points owned, so any value left is just picking up pennies in front of a VAR review. Feels like the...
IMO, quick one. Player moves like leaving Man City for Fulham. What's that like in market terms? A blue chip to a value play? Give us a punchy analogy while Norway keep probing.
Yeah, Leo, that's a blue chip rotation into a turnaround story. Less certainty, more prove it upside, and the spread gets wider fast. It's like selling a Champions League lock for a newly promoted flyer. Higher volatility, but one good run can re-rate the whole position.
IMO, quick one. Bob's moved from Man City to Fulham. What's that kind of switch say in market terms, and does it scream bargain buy or risky asset?
Totally, Leo. Think of it as rotating out of a mega cap winner into a small cap with a bigger role. Higher upside narrative, but the drawdowns can be nasty. It's a more minutes, more variance trade, not a safe bond.
IMO, quick one. Viewers asking about Bob who left Man City for Fulham. Can you confirm who that is and the details? Sounds like a transfer contract query.
I can't confirm that one off the top of my head. Bob from Man City to Fulham doesn't ring as a clear verified transfer. In market terms, though, it's still the classic blue chip to smaller cap move. Bigger roll potential, but a lot more execution risk.
Berger's the metronome out there, isn't he? Just purring along, making the whole thing tick as Norway try to boss the ball. And now Sildrup's coughed it up, Kazim snaps it up, and suddenly there's a little whiff of danger in the air. Berger's running the show like a conductor with a baton. Slow it, speed it, whatever the moment demands, and Norway look calmer for it, but Sildrup's gone wandering, Kazim nicks it, and you can feel the crowd lean forward. This could bite!
That tiny 0.01 offer on the draw just vanished, back to a dead zero quote, which tells you nobody even wants to pretend there's a comeback script. Norway's book is still rock solid 8-1 Hauser, with bids stacking like they're parking the bus with the ball.
Oh, you can feel it. One last roll of the dice for Holland to make it 3. The defenders are backing off like they've seen a ghost, and the whole stadium's holding its breath for that thunderbolt. That's the genius of Holland off the ball. He plays possum like he's daydreaming, and defenders relax for half a second, then bang, he's detonated into space, and they're chasing shadows with their boots on fire.
Draw just went back to 0.00. When the spread disappears at 0, that's the market basically turning the lights off. Norway's still a locked 1.0, but notice bid depth dropped hard. That's not fear. That's traders taking chips off the table with the win already.
You're spot on. Most of his magic happens before the pass, carving out that little pocket like he's stealing real estate. And now everyone's glancing at the clock, wondering how long he stays on because he only needs one sniff to punish you. 3 added minutes. Just enough time for one more twist of the knife. You can see the shape up top, bodies in the box, and the defenders are jittery now because one clean delivery and Holland's sniffing blood again.
Draw bid depth just collapsed to basically lunch money, while the sell side is still a skyscraper. Nobody's paying for the miracle anymore. Norway stays welded to 100, and this feels like the crowd already heading for the exits before the final whistle. Any volatility?
Yeah, you can see it. He's shaping for that guided finish, but the body stays closed and it kisses the outside instead of the inside. Maybe a touch of doubt, maybe rushing it, but at this level, that half degree is the difference between glory and groans. And that little hesitation is poison. If you're waiting for a teammate, the moment's already gone. Now we're into the first of 6 added minutes, and suddenly every clearance, every second ball feels like it's carrying a season on its back. Oh no, you hate to see this. He's down and twisting like he's been hit by a truck, and the clock doesn't care one bit. The physio's coming on whether he likes it or not, because that looks more than just a knock. He's waved them away and he's soldiering on. Proper warrior stuff, but you can see the ref almost pleading with him to be sensible. Got squeezed in that crunch and came out the filling in a Norwegian sandwich, and it's left him hobbling. He's refusing the treatment and trying to run it off, and the referee's almost doing him a favor because if the physio comes on, he's forced to step out, and that's a lifetime right now. Caught in that Norwegian sandwich, and he's paying for it, grimacing with every stride.
Now the draw has literally no bids, 0 buyers, so that outcome is being treated like it's already off the board. Norway still bid at $100 with no offers, and bid depth actually climbed, which screams everyone's leaning the same way and nobody wants to be the seller.
He's waved the medics away again. Brave or bonkers, we'll find out in the next sprint. The ref's trying to protect him from that forced minute off if treatment happens, but after that Norwegian sandwich, he's moving like he's got a piano on his back. Good news, he's fine, because that lad on the right is an engine. One moment he's a fullback, next he's flying like a winger and whipping danger in. Those assist numbers scream modern football, don't they? The fullback's basically your playmaker in boots.
Norway bid depth just ballooned to nearly 500,000 with still no offers. This is a one-way stampede, like everyone piling into the box for a last-minute corner. Iraq and the draw remain unbid at 0, so the market's pricing this as done and dusted.
He's shaking it off, and thank goodness, because Recent is owning that flank like he's got the remote control. Right back on the team sheet, right winger in real life, and those Bundesliga assists tell you everything. Fullbacks are the new headline act. You can see the legs going now. Ricini's running on fumes, just begging for that final whistle like it's a lifeboat. But there's still a couple of minutes to survive, and this is where one loose touch can turn the whole night upside down.
The no-bid situation on Iraq and the draw is getting even more extreme. Sell walls keep stacking, but there's nobody on the other side to even pretend. Norway's bid depth keeps creeping higher with zero asks, so it's like the market's already printing the trophy rip. Trade is praying for a shock and hoping you're not the one holding the empty book.
He's absolutely grinding through it now. You can almost hear the lungs burning. Ricini will be dreaming of that whistle, but there's still a few minutes left, and that's the danger zone where tired legs make loud mistakes. He's hanging on by his fingernails out there. Ricini's tank is flashing red, and the whistle can't come soon enough. But with a few minutes still ticking, this is where chaos loves to sneak in through the back door.
Norway's still pinned at 100, but notice the real top bid is sitting down at 0.02 with a monster stack. This is a liquidity mirage, like a team time wasting in the corner flag. Iraq and draw are pure offer only to reality. The gap between one sovereign and where size actually sits is the trapdoor.
IMO, Norway's got that Holland blue chip vibe. Everyone knows the headline asset, but the real story is the risk management behind him. How do you see teams hedging against a superstar like that, like markets pricing in a known catalyst?
Totally. When a superstar is priced in, the hedge is cutting the easy lanes and forcing low probability shots like markets widening spreads and starving liquidity around a known catalyst. You don't stop Holland, you cap the upside and make the win come from someone else.
Exactly, AMO. When everyone swarms Holland like he's the hot stock on the market, somebody else gets a bargain in space. You double him, you blink, and suddenly Norway's runners are cashing in down the sides. They're doubling Holland like a blue chip everyone's chasing, creates value elsewhere. Can you riff on the market overfocus idea and how Norway's teammates profit from the attention?
Exactly. When the crowd all piles into the same ticker, mispricings pop up in the second liners, double Holland, and you're basically shorting space. The teammates get cleaner looks like small caps ripping while everyone's glued to the mega cap headline.
Norway win a dangerous free kick after that deflected cross. Perfect moment for your market pressure analogy. Everyone drawn to Holland, space opens elsewhere, and now set piece time could be the late dividend.
That's pure pressure trade. Sustained flow pins the defense like a market pin to a level, and eventually something breaks. Everyone's bracing for the Holland headline, but the real alpha can be the secondary runner on the set piece.
That cross had a wicked bit of venom, and the deflection just turns the screw. Now Norway have a set piece with the clock whispering one more chance. You can feel Iraq holding their breath here because this is Holland